The ghosts and goblins are out this afternoon. NASCAR's wildest track hosts the biggest Halloween party on the planet. But wait, is something brewing? Holy Talladega trucks!
On a normal, peaceful afternoon in Talladega, Alabama, Truck Series drivers and crews prepare for the 22nd race of the season. But wait, it looks like the evil onion has the championship contenders in a perplexing situation.
Let's see you get out of this one, Hornaday.
Someone must help them.
Yes, Mr. Otten? Hornaday has been heinously hijacked.
Holy post-race inspection, Ray!
And Crafton has been captured also.
We know what we have to do.
Just as many times before, the Truck Crusader and Wonder Boy, courageous warriors against crimes in the Truck Series, rush to the rescue.
This is our Gotham City, but all is not safe. Yes, the evil onion has kidnapped our points leaders, and rumor is he's called in the Joker, the Penguin, and the Riddler to help. Luckily, the Justice League has called in the setup. Delightful, delicious destruction. Welcome to our Halloween edition of The Setup. By day, I may be a mild-mannered pre-race show host, but with a battle brewing between good and evil here at Talladega, I had no choice but to transform into my alter ego, Batgirl. Now, I'm not the only one here attempting to save our drivers, and we have some big news. Luckily, our Cape Crusaders, the dynamic duo Batman and Robin, are here.
And Batgirl, there's great news here at Talladega. The best thing is the weather is clearing up and we're hoping to go racing. But NASCAR released some very important information for the competitors throughout this weekend. The great news is double file restarts are coming to the Camping World Truck Series next season, and that means there'll be a change in the pit stop rules. Next season, you'll be allowed to do fuel and tires on the same pit stops, and the competitors very, very happy about that. Also, some engine changes for the year of 2010. Now, one other thing that we just learned about this weekend in the garage area is that Memphis Motorsport has now been closed, so we know there'll be no truck race there next year. And Robin, that means we're back to Nashville for a second run.
I think you and I can fight crime in Nashville twice a year, no problem. Now to some on-track news unfolding here yesterday. Young Austin Dillon expected to make his third start in the Camping World Truck Series in 2009. This weekend, driving for his grandfather, Richard Childress. Unfortunately, this team was too low when they went through post-race qualifying's inspection line. That means their time was disallowed. Austin will not race today, and that is a tough break, Batgirl, for a team that's expected to run full-time in 2010.
And you guys look good. Smooth wheels indeed. Well, last week our fight against crime centered around keeping our drivers from ingesting too many Jesse Jones hot dogs. We were not the only ones successful as a new superhero emerged. Here's a look back at last week's race in Martinsville.
We have waited out the rain delay. The track is dry. Leading the field to the green flag, it'll be Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday. Green flag's in the air. We're underway.
Inside line is usually the fast way around, but Ron Hornaday may have a different idea. Hornaday will lead lap 1 of the Kroger 200.
A big turn around in turns 3 and 4. The caution flag will fly. How about Denny Hamlin on pit road right now?
Wow, what a call by this team.
He relinquished the top spot. Timothy Peters is your leader.
They pitted for fuel at lap 34, made a slight adjustment. That's the only thing they've done today. And they also said, you're good on fuel.
He's not only good on fuel, he's good on the track. That truck is going.
Trouble turn 2. Skinner's got some damage on the right front corner of that Toyota. Tire is flat on the Mike Skinner machine after tangling with the lap truck at Chris Fontaine.
What can happen and take you out of a championship battle? Something like that can do it.
The big question mark now is, does he have enough fuel?
He just needs to make it about 2 miles, y'all. 2 miles, and he's going to get his first win at his home track.
Coming out, turn number 4.
He looks for the biggest checkered flag of his life.
Timothy Peters will win at Martinsville. His 64th start brings his first win.
Tom Deloach give me an opportunity, and Chip with strutmasters.com stuck with us.
Is there any other place you'd have rather won?
Nope. Right here with Tom, right here at Martinsville.
Timothy Peters in Victory Lane. Red Horse Racing back here with the celebration. Well, figuring the exact moment of nuclear fission is easy for me, but to figure out how to be on the right spot at the right time at Talladega, that's tough. You're our most recent winner. Tell us your game plan.
Well, hopefully with our strutmasters.com, we're going to hang out, try to miss the big one, and get with our teammate TJ Bell. But tell me something, Cape Crusader. Can we call Commissioner Gordon? Because the villain is the rain today. We need to get it cleared out.
Absolutely. We are going to do our best to work on that. And the guy who was fastest in qualifying is standing by with the Boy Wonder.
Fastest in qualifying, Hody Toledo, Batman. It was his 4th pole of the year. Colin Brown, congratulations. And what's your biggest concern today?
Well, I think you in this suit is my biggest concern right now. But just getting this race in, I think, is the biggest thing. I hope that happens, and if we do, I know we got a really fast Conway freight truck, and certainly with the 4 horsepower we have, we should be in good shape.
Krista, this guy was an unknown a couple of years ago, and then kabam, winning races and poles. It should be fun today.
Thanks, Robin. The Copart point standings will really shake up if Batman and Boy Wonder can't get to our top 2. Mike Skinner could benefit. Timothy Peters jumps up after his win. But Hornaday and Crafton, well, they could be in even more danger. That's because this track provides a lot of trouble for our drivers, but rumor is there is some evil, some danger creeping around in the shadows. Batman and Robin have a special television system, but what?
I think I've got it.
What is that?
I've got it. Keep it up. I believe you've done it. I've got it. Oh, we've taken over the broadcast, Joker.
I got in a fight with my wife last night, but it was my fault.
Why?
She said, "What's on the TV?" I said, "Done." And then she said, "What kind of cheese is that?" And I said, "Nacho cheese."
Nacho cheese. Oh. Riddle me this, Joker. In the mirror, it's true. From front to back. This Penguin's trophy from Aged All Act.
Talladega, you
Correct, Joker. Penguin, I've got one for you. In Roman times, his initials sum, added with the truck that won. Coincidence, the number same? The year the trucks, this track, first came.
Mark Martin.
You're right, Penguin. Oh, let's try to hold on to this broadcast. We'll take it down.
Keep it right here.
Yeah.
Well, Batman and Robin will certainly need their laser bar cutters and bat hooks to trip up that tricky trio. But if I know our Cape Crusaders, they have some bat cards up their sleeves, or perhaps hidden in their spandex. Coming up, happenstance, history, and hijinks, all on the high banks of Talladega. Stick around.
When the setup returns, we'll see what some of our drivers have planned for Halloween. Mario Gosselin talks about the struggles of a startup team and the promise of a new sponsor. And will Batman and Robin be able to save the championship contenders from the evil onion in time for the race? Find out when the setup returns from Talladega, only on Speed.
Brought to you by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com for all of your camping and outdoor needs. Father and son combinations racing over the years, keeping things in the family. I guess that would be similar to Commissioner Gordon and his daughter Barbara. Welcome back to our spooktacular Halloween edition of the setup here from Talladega. You know, we have transformed the setup today, as you can see, into a little bit of the Bat Cave, but recently Speed started a new show that's sort of a man cave. And last week, Mike and Chrissy Wallace, who are starting a historic venture here in Talladega, making history in our truck race, well, they stopped by to talk about it.
We will witness history this weekend at Talladega. For the first time ever in one of NASCAR's 3 top series, a father-daughter combination will start a race. And it should come as no surprise that their last name is Wallace. It's Chrissy and Mike Wallace. They're going to do the Camping World Truck Series race. And guys, this has to be so exciting. And I already see a proud smile on the dad's face. First of all, we want to welcome you into the hub. What do you think about this place?
This is cool. This is
cool, kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
And you guys brought the father-daughter fire suits as well. Those are neat.
Yeah.
Was that your idea, Mike?
A little Wallace family tradition or history taking place at Talladega, and even threw on the back of it a generations race. You know, she's only a year or two younger than I am.
Yeah, we believe that, don't we, Chrissy?
We do, don't we?
Yeah, tell us how this came about. How did the whole idea come about?
Well, it actually started with me with Rick Ware Racing and SS Greenlight. They formed a team together running the 08 Chevrolet. Rick actually came to Dad and asked him if I would be interested in running Talladega for him, and so it went from there, and then Dad decided he wanted to get into the fun too.
All right, so who's feeling the pressure now? Who's feeling the pressure to run better?
Well, I don't know that there is any pressure. The pressure's all on her, I can tell you that. I've been there plenty of times. You know, she hasn't got to race a lot this year, and rolling at Talladega is a big thing. But I've told everybody this race is all about Chrissy, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, we're going to go down there. I'm expected to run good, no matter what I'm in, and I'm very happy Andy Hillenberg's given me the opportunity to drive his 48 truck, and you know, his Polar Bear 150 race is going to be the sponsor of it that he has January 1st. Yeah, so it's a cool sponsor on the truck, and Chris is going to hopefully just run really well, and who knows, might be able to push her across for a win.
Again, that was from NASCAR Race Hub. It's Speed's brand new daily show. You can see it every Monday through Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And so far, it has been so much fun. You never know who might stop by, like Father Wallace and daughter Chrissy. Mike and Chrissy both in this race today. Mike will be behind the wheel of the number 48, Chrissy, the 08 truck. And there you see some of their numbers. Holy smokes, has Batman caught up with our points leader?
Well, thank you, Batgirl. Luckily, we were able to get him away from the evil onion. And today, Ron Hornaday, it's Halloween. How you feeling?
I sure hope it is, dude, because if you wear that every day, you're in trouble. God. I'm doing wonderful. Happy Halloween to everybody, looks like.
Talk about the complexities of this racing, Ron, and really, we've talked over and over, this very well may be the last bullet you have to dodge on the way to another championship.
Nah, there's 3 more after that, too. Hopefully the weather participates so we can get out there and race, but yeah, we just got to make sure we keep the fenders on this thing and keep this Copart Chevrolet in the top 5. These guys are going to be pushing me pretty hard, and hopefully not make a mistake, but we'll see what we got and see what Rick's got in line for pit stops.
All right, we wish you good luck, and the Copart Challenge Champions continues, and Robbins with the other participant.
Holy restrictor plate, Batman. Todd Bodine has won 4 of these Speedway races in a row, so how does your truck stack up today?
It's pretty good. You know, it's the same truck we've had the last 4 races, and we haven't touched the setup. We did try a set of shocks in the front, but it's the same old truck. And it drives great. It drafts good. It pulls up. It does everything you need it to do to be able to put yourself in a position to have the opportunity to win the race. And that's what we've been lucky enough to do the last 4 times, and very fortunate to come out on top. But you know, it's never easy. We got a great field of trucks today, and it's going to be a heck of a race.
So many variables to equal success at Daytona and Talladega. Todd Bodine and his group have put it together 4 times in a row. Krista?
Batman and Robin did it. They were able to get Hornaday and Crafton out of the grip of the evil onion. Recently, I escaped from the evil plans of Lotus by escaping from a vat of boiling oil. What will the drivers have to escape from today? We are creating memories here on this Halloween edition of The Setup, so stick around. But before we leave you, we want to show you some other Halloween memories from our drivers.
That's cute. I like that.
Oh, wow. I don't have a Halloween costume, so
I'm really not going to say.
I don't even have one. I have one, but I can't say it on the air.
I was in middle school,
and they dared me to dress up as an Indian girl with a skirt, with a skirt, with a skirt, with a skirt. And I wore it proud all day, proud all day, proud all day, proud all day. And that's just the way, I mean, because it was just more or less a dare.
I was probably in the 3rd or 4th grade, and my father was a race car driver, so I borrowed his helmet and his suit, and instead of being my dad, I was A.J. Foyt. And that was kind of cool. I remember that was a lot of fun.
I don't know. I mean, it'd go back to my childhood because I'm not a very active person here in my older years, but I think I was a California raisin once, and I don't know why. I remember they were big. You could go to Hardee's and get them.
My all-time favorite Halloween costume was a train that my mom made me.
I guess my favorite one is probably I was a snake man one year.
We worked on cardboard boxes, and I was the conductor, and I was in the front. I was the locomotive part of the train.
I'm not exactly sure what a snake man is or where I got the idea, but I carried on a bunch of different fake snakes and had a cool cape on.
And suspenders held the first box to me, and then had a couple boxes attached there, and it was huge and enormous and didn't really fit anywhere, but I was stoked to be a train.
It was pretty cool to be able to go up people's doors and just put the snake on the door and ring the doorbell and run away. And then everybody come to the door and just see the snakes, and I don't know, it was kind of cool.
We used to go down to Austin for a Halloween party. I told my wife I didn't have time to go pick one out, and she picked one out for me, and next thing you know, we're down in Austin, and I said, hey, you got my costume? And she comes out with this big, long purple robe, and a cane, and I just had this fancy hat, and I'm like, trying to figure out what it was. Well, I was a pimp.
The number 12 truck unveiled a new look, MyTireMonkey.com, with Mario Gosselin. And if you think we look good in our costumes, you should have seen Mario's daughters dressed as little monkeys. The 12 has a monkey on its back, literally. All of the drivers will soon have steel horses breathing down their necks at this track as the commissioner of the Truck Series, Wayne Otten, is about to open up the gates and let these boys loose. Welcome back to the setup. It's Halloween, and that means we pull out all the stops. You know that about our Truck Series crew. Today, it's Batman and Robin. We're fighting crime. This track can be evil, so we'll have to stay on our toes. Batman and Robin are running around trying to get things under control. The Riddler, the Joker, the Penguin, they're making it tough on us, but we are here to make sure good prevails over evil. You know, recently we sat down to talk about that new team and the new sponsor, Mario Gosselin. Take a look about overcoming obstacles and being back in the Truck Series.
If I didn't eat and breathe this sport, I'd have quit a long time ago.
Sponsorship dollars have always steered the sport of NASCAR. A 200-mile-an-hour billboard puts thousands of people to work each day. And for the one-man operation of Mario Gosselin, that job has been getting longer.
It's full-time and a half right now, just because of the financial situation and, having to work so many late hours and a lot of great people pitching in and helping and, working a lot of hours for not a lot of money.
Time management is key for Gosselin. From sunup to sundown, Gosselin wears all the hats for his team. A throwback racer that does nothing by today's book.
It's just part of the day at the racetrack, I mean, obviously, sometimes you got to slow down a little bit, go and take a shower and relax a little bit and get a good meal. But, when you get to the track, what I'm having to do, the fun, what I'm doing is, a lot of times I'll have one other truck, sometimes two other trucks, and I got to make sure everything gets done, and I got to make sure that they make it in the race. And sometimes that's what covers my bills is the other trucks, either whether I rent them out and they're racing, or sometimes we'll rent them out to somebody that wants experience, to get some seat time and some experience. And sometimes they don't necessarily run the whole race, but it's still got to be right and it's still got to be fast.
Look at the attitude of that truck. They got it figured out.
Yeah, right down there on the racetrack. We're in the knockout phase of qualifying. Mario Gosselin has been able to lock himself in.
When we do have the money to go race, it's a really good feeling. On the other side, sometimes when you come and you don't have the budget, but you just have to do what you have to do to be able to get to the next weekend. As a racer, there's probably nothing that's harder than that, to go out here and run minimal laps of practice on those tires because we want to qualify on those tires. So we're being held back a little bit.
47, second fastest.
With no regrets, Gosselin has braved through this tough economy with humility and is now looking forward with a new sponsor.
definitely enjoy everything about the sport. Just going to different places and traveling and working on the truck and being rewarded by running good. And I've always done all I could do. If I got any regrets, is sometimes doing more than what I could afford to do. All in all, I've worked as hard as I possibly can and done all I can do. And, you know, here I am, looking forward to the rest of this season and next season with MyTireMonkey.com on board.
Mario Gosselin qualified 20th. What a great story. I think it's a story a lot of people can relate to. We hope he'll soon be called Super Mario. And hey, right now our superheroes have been the guys driving the jet dryers, the track getting dry very quickly. We are going to go racing after all. And you know, at this track, it's a special one. It's one everyone wants to win, and you have certain tracks where guys seem to excel. Dennis Setzer, always good on the short tracks. For so many years, Brendan Gaughan owned Texas every time we went there. Well, recently, here at Talladega, it's been all about Todd Bodine, so look for him to be very strong. Also, Mike Skinner, the usual suspects, Ron Hornaday, Matt Crafton, and of course, Rick Crawford. Rick Crawford is from Alabama. He has a spooky truck. Thanks to Fitzy Snowman for all of our great pumpkins. Stick around.
We know what we have to do. Well, it was good till I pulled the door. That was excellent. See if I can make it in Hollywood here.
I gotta keep a straight face. Hold on.
The freaks will be out tonight, but some freaky things can still happen on the track tomorrow. Race day on speed, and then another page of the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship will be written. But here in the Truck Series, our championship is far from firmed up. Our Cape Crusaders, they saved Hornaday and Crafton from the evil Onion, but I know there's still evil to be found. The Penguin, the Joker, the Riddler, they're still lurking somewhere. I sense it.
That dynamic duo couldn't keep us down once again. Who will be the joke today, Joker?
Oh, the joke is those tights on Batman. You riddle me the winner, Riddler.
Who's going to be the bad guy?
Who will be the bad guy today? The truck will be the bad guy today.
I love today.
I don't like good guys. I don't like good guys.
The bad guys win.
Cape Crusaders, I say we go get them.
And here's the thing, now through the magic of television, we know where
is our superhero for now, but will the draft work in his favor? You have to stay tuned to find out. Our thanks to GothamGarage.net for providing Batman's ride. Joey and Keith, thank you so much. To all of our viewers, the Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Yamaha starts now.
The tale of Talladega. Black cats prowl and pumpkins gleam. May luck be theirs on Halloween.
No one stepping out of line and no one giving an inch. It's going to be a thriller.
Most will be tricked,
They're crashing in the back of the pack. We have got a junkyard of wrecked race trucks.
while one will be a treat.
Here's Bodine to the outside, racing for the lead and the win in Talladega.
The tall tale story will be bittersweet.
If they make it back 2 more laps around this racetrack, it'll be a miracle.
36 drivers with victory lane in sight. Talladega will be the height of fright. And only one will win, I must concede. The horror continues next on Speed.
Happy Halloween, everyone. We hope you've had as much fun as we did over the past half hour. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Mountain Dew 250. Again, we have had a lot of fun, and a lot of people are to thank for that. That's Keith D'Alessandro, our producer, our coordinating producer, Dave Lee, Frank Wilson, Steve Craddock, Hunter Nickel, all the guys that allowed us to have this much fun. We want to thank them for allowing that to happen. Now, we want to get back to serious business, and that is a race which is about to take place. We got a couple guys on pit road that I know are back to normal. Well, as normal as you can be. Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap. Let's start off with Ray.
You can call me Bruce Wayne now if you want to, Rick. We're back to regular. But I'll tell you what, everybody getting very excited about this race this afternoon. When you come to Talladega, it just doesn't get much better than that unless you're Todd Bodine, because he comes in here with an incredible amount of confidence. The truck he has today has 4 super speedway wins. Todd Bodine comes here thinking that today he's the man to beat at Talladega. Adam?
And there is another driver who feels like he's got what it takes to go to victory lane this afternoon. We're talking about young Colin Brown. The announcement has been made that he will not be back in the Truck Series in 2010. He's moving on to race in the Nationwide Series. He's got one thing on his mind over the course of the last 4 races. That is get to victory lane. He's got a great opportunity today. His 4th career pole. Colin Brown going to lead us to the green flag. It should be fun to watch him this afternoon. Now we go to pit road for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Alabama Army National Guard presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Reverend Randy Hagan of Alabama Raceway Ministries offers today's invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you this day for your blessings. We thank you for the country of America and the freedom that we enjoy and be able to have these great sporting events. We pray for the safety of our drivers, of the crews, and of the fans. Father, we pray that you would watch over our soldiers in harm's way. It is in the name of Jesus we humbly pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome lead singer of country music group The Lost Trailers, Ryder Lee.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Fans are beginning to fill in the seats. The drivers are going to get in theirs. We're going racing. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Yamaha ATVs. Yamaha ATVs are the dominant species. And brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit campingworld.com for all your camping and outdoor needs. Track drying continuing. We've got service vehicles as well as jet dryers out on the racetrack, and they have done an amazing job of getting the track in the condition that it is now. Again, they're drying a 2.66 mile racetrack, so it's a lot of surface that they've got to get dried, and they're doing a great job at it. So as they continue to do that, we're going to be in a hold here at Talladega Superspeedway. Hello again, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip joining you from Talladega. Now, they say that at 4:30, that would be the latest that we can start this race. And we're going to have the track dry before then. There obviously are no lights, so to get the race started and completed, we have to start by then. But it's just after 3 o'clock here, and they've done a great job getting the track dried so far.
Yeah, I was amazed, Phil. It was misting still when we got up to the booth, and there was already some dry tracks in the track. Now they've got it pretty much dry. There's some areas that they need to specifically work on and address, but predominantly the place is dry, and we're getting ready to go racing. You know, we watched qualifying yesterday, and I talked about how different things were going to be today. Yesterday, one truck trying to get that perfect line. Today, whew, it's going to be a hurricane out there, a hurricane of activity.
And you think that because of this delay and the fact that the rubber's been washed off the racetrack that these guys are going to be tentative? Not even close.
Right.
They're going to be 3 wide, 4 wide from the drop of the green flag. This is going to be one of the most exciting races of the entire year, and it's going to be right here in just a few minutes.
And the truck series, we've got the tapered spacer. We have it at actually every racetrack, but here it's so much more important to keep your foot on the gas all the time.
Well, and what's important to understand too, Rick, like Phil said, anybody can win this darn race. You got Mike Wallace, guys starting in the very back. Norm Benning, he thinks he can drive up there and be a part of the story. We go to most tracks. If you don't qualify within a couple 3/10 of the lead or at least a half second of the pole, you really don't have a chance. Here, 2 seconds off, I'm going to the front. And that's the attitude they're going to have, and that's why you'll see them 2 and 3 wide, 4 wide even early, because they're wanting to say, I'm going to show that I've got the truck to win this race.
I don't think there's a driver in this field that doesn't think he or she can win this race. Right. I mean, when they got up this morning, they know this is their opportunity to get in victory lane.
Well, Michael, you mentioned the word hurricane earlier. Those pants might bring on a hurricane. I would believe. You can actually change back into what we're supposed to be wearing. Let's go down to Krista Voda. She is going to get us reset up on track.
And Rick, I'm so glad you mentioned the pants, because if you hadn't, I was going to. I'm a little more scared that you guys are able to get all of your Halloween makeup off, and I am still kind of reminiscent of Batgirl eyes. But yes, out here for the reset up. The big news, of course, the rule changes for 2010. Next year, there will be double file restarts. We're really excited about that. We think that's going to add even more energy to the Truck Series. Plus, of course, being able to change tires and add fuel on the same stop. The other big news, a date change. Instead of going to Memphis no longer on the schedule. The Truck Series will now go to Nashville twice. We will be there as a doubleheader with the Nationwide Series on the Easter holiday. So we're really excited about that as well. And also, some news here at Talladega. Austin Dillon expected to be in this race in the 3. He did not pass technical inspection, so he is not in the race. Of course, a lot of the fans upset to not see the number 3 on track, but there's still tons of other drivers in the field. Who will win today? That's what we'll find out. Adam, are you standing by?
Well, and Kyle Busch was not in the 51 last week. That's an uncharacteristic thing for Billy Blue Motorsports. But back this week after taking care of nationwide duties a week ago at Memphis, how is your race truck?
It's not bad. I think the Mississippi Tundra is pretty good. It sucks up real well on other guys. A lot of guys have asked me if we're going to win today, which to me sounds like everybody thinks we're pretty good. So, you know, it just all lays down to what happens throughout the race and what happens when you get down towards the end of the race. So we'll see who all my truck works well with. So far, the 15's been really good for us. But other than that, you know, you just got to play it out and be there at the end.
Bouncing back and forth between both garages, a lot of track time yesterday. How does the truck and the car compare in the draft?
Well, we did sort of the same things that we did on the truck to the Cup car in order to make the Cup car a little bit better. So they sort of correlated yesterday, and I was surprised and happy with that because at least we got some information back and forth, you know. So we'll see how it plays out here today. I mean, you're really not going to change a whole lot. The trucks handle so well. The Cup cars handle so well here. That's why you always see big packs and guys running all over each other because there's no handling involved. And so it's just all about how fast your truck's built.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Rowdy starting 10th this afternoon, Ray.
Well, thank you, Adam. Let's talk to Mike Skinner. You know, when it comes to Talladega racing, most guys say either love it or you hate it. Which side are you on?
I love it, man. I love most everywhere we go, though. But, you know, our PC Miler Navigator Tundra is pretty darn good. It drives really, really good. Not very fast, but I think it'll be good in the draft.
Lots of news yesterday, Mike. We know Memphis is going away, but the bigger picture, a change to the pit stop program next year. Your thoughts?
First of all, Nashville twice? Heck yeah, that's cool. I hate that Memphis is going off the schedule, but Nashville twice, I'm a big fan of Nashville, so got a lot of friends there. But the rule change, I think, is just so positive, Ray. We've talked about it before, and you know, the double file restarts work very, very well in the Sprint Cup Series, the Nationwide Series. I think it'll be every bit as exciting in the Truck Series. So I'm looking forward to being able to put tires and gas in at the same time.
I think that'll work out good for Mike Skinner. He's one of the guys that got bit a couple of times this year from the rules we had.
Thanks, Ray. Guys still a little, maybe enjoying some sightseeing here at Talladega Super Speedway. The track looking good. They continue to drive this 2.66 mile super speedway. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day takes on Talladega, where the big one could turn the championship upside down. Jeff Gordon will join us. Plus, Wendy Venerini will chat with legendary owner Richard Childress. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live tomorrow at 10 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Track drying continues. Our Copart Challenge of Champion point standings. Ron Hornaday, 530. Todd Bodine with 424. This is the final race of the Copart Challenge. These two battling it back and forth. Two VIP winners have already been chosen to attend the race and will be sitting in the pit box with these teams. Copart will donate $5,000. There's a couple of our fans, the VIP winners. Darlene Coleman. She will be cheering for Todd Bodine. She was our VIP sweepstakes winner, so she'll be helping out on top of the pit box.
Cheryl Mountain is our other VIP sweepstakes winner, and she'll be pulling for Ron Hornaday, our point leader.
So a good battle going between our two Copart Challenge of Champions. Again, Copart is donating $5,000 to the winning driver's favorite charity. Ron's is Victory Junction Gang, and Todd's is the American Cancer Society. We're getting multiple flyovers today at Talladega Super Speedway. We'll be back. Welcome back. Mountain Dew 250, presented on Speed by Yamaha. About to get underway. The trucks all lined up on pit road. A lot of the drivers have already climbed in and strapped into their race trucks. Let's go down to Adam Alexander.
In fact, Rick, a number of drivers already have on their helmets. Max Pappas patiently waiting for us to put his on. Thank you for that. Career best qualifying effort, starting third today. How do you take advantage of this?
Just fantastic, to have the Geico Toyota up here in front. I know it's going to be a battle. It's going to be something, definitely a learning curve. Everyone wants to arrive to those last 20 laps in good shape to push hard, but you need to first position yourself to go there. So I'm looking forward. It's going to be a great lesson for me. I'm going to push as hard as I can, and we see what it's going to be at the end. I'm excited. I think the Geico Toyota has been very fast so far. I'm in the Cup race as well, so live and learn, push hard, and happy Halloween to everyone who's listening, and I love you all. Ciao.
A lot of rain, a green racetrack. Has that changed strategy at all?
No. This track, I don't think it changes that much. I mean, I shouldn't even talk because I don't have much experience on that, but I believe that it's going to be just push hard and see who is your friend and who is not your friend.
Mad Max, always fun to watch. He should be extra special today here at Talladega, Ray.
And Adam, the Monster Energy Chevrolet is in mid-pack. Ricky Carmichael will roll off 15th today. Ricky, tell me about the balance between aggression to get to the front and patience.
Well, one thing I learned in motocross is to have patience, to be there at the end of whether it's a race or a championship. And behind my teammate here, and I'm just going to have patience and sit here and ride. I'm not going to try to be a hero, as I never really try to be, and try to be there at the end.
And tell me about this racetrack, your thoughts. It's awfully smooth. You can got a lot of different lines to take.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's fun for me because I can work on the draft and not have to worry about handling as much. So I'm looking forward to it. I love this place. This is where it started for me last year with KHI, and see what we can do for this Monster Energy Chevrolet.
Points aren't a big deal for Ricky Carmichael. He wants to go for the win. He rolls off right behind his teammate, Ron Hornaday.
Look at that. Brian Vickers was a part of the big chicken car we saw yesterday. Tommy Kendall, I think, was actually behind the wheel when we saw it make its. There's Tommy Kendall right there. How about that? Joining us here for a truck race, and I'm sure he's ready for the trucks to fire up.
Go Max!
And get going. World's greatest. You see the chicken car. Check this out. Another Batman. It's a great holiday. Halloween. I'm sure tricks and treats are going to be aplenty later on this evening. We'll see racing coming up.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
There are a multitude of different reasons why you might need a portable heating unit. And here at Camping World, they've got all different sizes and shapes for your varying needs. Take the Little Buddy, for example. Now, this is great if you need to go to your fishing shack, maybe out to the workshop, or just have a cold, drafty porch. This will get the job done for you, but it's nothing like the heat that the Big Buddy puts out. This one has 18,000 BTUs, and it's got a fan to give you convection heat. It'll warm up an entire room. Now, here's a neat little item. How about the Little Red Campfire? There are some places you go where they don't allow you to have a real campfire. You plug your propane in. It's got a 5-foot hose right here. You get the propane way away, and you have a nice little portable fire. But this is one of my favorite items. It's the Coleman Grill and Fire Pit to go. Check it out. 22-inch stainless steel. You cook your dinner on right here. You take this away, and later that evening, you set yourself up a nice fire, and it's got an ember cover to go right on there. You're all set for dinner and to enjoy the evening. Lots of warmth, lots of different ideas, and it's always at Camping World.
And on a cool day like this in Talladega, that would come in handy. One of the biggest campgrounds of any of the racetracks we come to, and the fans are pretty excited about seeing racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. That might be Big Buddy right there.
She's working that pumpkin over. I love Camping World Truck Series here at Talladega Speedway. This says Camping World to me, doesn't it, you guys? Could you imagine how many of those folks drove by the Camping World store and got them some stuff for this weekend and ready to go watch this Mountain Dew 250?
And a lot of people in costume. One out of costume now, thankfully, is Adam Alexander.
I am glad. Outside of row number 2 for Jason White. Great qualifying effort. Jason, how did the truck react in the draft during practice yesterday?
Oh, man, these guys, let's go Brooker Dodge is really fast. The guys gave me a great truck, and we'll look forward to get out there on this track. We're ready to go.
Jason White chomping at the bit, hoping to take advantage of this great qualifying run, rolling 4th momentarily at Talladega.
And NASCAR has told the drivers, get strapped in, get your helmets on, because we are about to get the engines fired up. We're going to go racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. Guys, anybody, could they handle Todd Bodine? He's got 4 in a row coming into this race as far as wins at Superspeedways. Are there 35 guys that might be able to slow him down?
Well, I think there are. You know, last year at this time, Colin Brown led the race when they took the white flag. Colin's been here twice. In ARCA race a couple years ago, he was leading on the last lap, got shuffled back. Last year he was leading on the last lap on this very race, and Todd Bodine ended up winning. So Todd Bodine knows how to get it done, but there are a lot of guys out there, and the brakes have to fall just his way for him to get it done.
I'm as amazed that he's won 4 in a row as I am that Ron Hornaday has never led a lap at Talladega. So I think both those things changed today. He can't win his 5th in a row, can he? And I know Hornaday's going to lead a lap eventually.
Well, we think so. Ron Hornaday has never led a lap at Talladega Superspeedway, amazingly enough. The engines are about to be fired. Let's get the command.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Chairman of the Board for Fred's, Michael Hayes.
Drivers, start your engines.
The command, drivers, start your engines. We've got Jennifer Jo Cobb as well as Chrissy Wallace, 2 females in the field today of 36 trucks, all coming to life. We're about to go racing at Talladega. Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 250, presented on speed by Yamaha. It's Talladega Superspeedway, and that means one thing when the trucks come here: excitement. An overcast day, the rains have passed through. It's 54 degrees, a little cooler here in late October. Fall weather in Talladega, Alabama. Again, cloudy skies, but we don't think any more precipitation until the end of this race. We want to take a look at our starting lineup. It'll scroll across the bottom of your screen. Colin Brown will bring the field to the green flag today. Terry Cook will be on his outside. Colin Brown won the pole at 179.608 miles per hour, but in the draft, these trucks will go over 190 miles an hour. Take a look at our ZMAX track description.
What an incredible racetrack. As you can see, the longest racetrack on the circuit, 2.66 miles, 33-degree bankings in the corner, and these guys will use, and ladies will use all of that 70 feet from the bottom of the racetrack to the top, Mikey.
And they'll be wanting to use what's underneath that yellow line. There's a little more pavement down there, and they'll want it, but you can't go down there. The NASCAR mandates you say above the yellow line you see there, That line goes all the way around the racetrack. That's a no passing zone. You cannot go down there, but there's plenty of room for action up above that line, Phil.
Our Yamaha race analysis, 36 trucks will start. It is the Mountain Dew 250 presented on speed by Yamaha. That 250 works out to the miles, just 94 laps though, Phil.
Yeah, you see the pit window, 30 to 35 laps. Tires are not as critical as here. Obviously, these trucks have to have fuel, so I think we'll see a lot of guys maybe just get fuel to try to keep a little bit of track position and forego tires down the road.
Truck still waiting for NASCAR to give them the go-ahead to roll off of pit road and onto the racetrack. The racetrack looks very good, meaning the green flag is coming up next from Talladega. Trucks are on the racetrack. A great sight here as the fans are a little bundled up with just 54-degree temperatures in Talladega, Alabama. But they'll warm up quick when we go side by side racing as soon as the green flag drops. That starting grid will roll across the bottom of the screen. Again, Colin Brown and Terry Cook will be bringing the field to the green flag. We want to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers, and we'll start off with Ray Dunlap. Who've got your spotlight?
Well, Rick, I want to watch Steve Park today. Of course, he's one of those drivers that's won in all three of NASCAR's top divisions. Got a win earlier this year in the Camping World East Series at Adirondack Speedway, but he's back in the trucks after a long absence. Today he's driving the 02 truck, and they're sponsored by Coma Energy Drinks. Steve Park hoping to have a great day today here at Talladega. Nice to have him back. Adam?
Chrissy Wallace back in the Truck Series as well. It's her first start in the Camping World Trucks in 2009. In fact, it's the first time she's been behind the wheel of a race vehicle since August when she ran a Legends car. FuelDoctor.com is the sponsor today. They hope this will spark some interest so she and Rick Ware Racing can go full-time in the trucks in 2010. Who you got, Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at her father. That's Mike Wallace. First time ever, father-daughter in the same race in NASCAR. You can see Andy Hillenberg's number 48, sponsored by the Polar Bear 150. That's a race that will be held on New Year's Day at Rockingham Speedway for street stocks. Mike Wallace, a four-time winner here in the Truck Series, as well as a four-time winner in the Nationwide Series. He's won in these trucks at Daytona. He's won in the Nationwide cars at Daytona, trying to get his first one here at Talladega. He also has my brother's Benny Parsons Rendezvous Ridge Winery on his beast post there. Mike will start back, way back, in the 33rd position. Mikey.
A little bit behind Mike is Jennifer Jo Cobb. You see Jennifer there. She got in a motorhome, Phil, in Kansas and drove here. Now, she stopped at Camping World, got her some stuff, but she said the wind bumping in that motorhome around, it made her feel like she was already at Talladega. It gave her a chance to get warmed up and ready to go racing. Hadn't been in a truck since Kansas earlier this year, looking to put something together to run the whole Truck Series, maybe some nationwide races in 2010. Today is all about learning and seeing if she can put that truck in a position to stay up in that lead pack.
Thank you for all of the spotlights. In the field making its way around Talladega Super Speedway. When we come back, we'll see the green flag fly. The flag stand just had the trucks pass underneath it, giving them the 2 to go sign. We are about to go racing. We were on a ride along with a few different trucks, one of those being Rick Crawford driving the Ford number 14. He'll start in the 16th position, and this is his home state. He wants to find victory lane at Talladega.
We're also going to ride along with our most recent winner. Timothy Peters broke through last week at his home track at Martinsville, Virginia. He's in the Toyota on board with strutmasters.com on board. Timothy starts back in the 23rd spot, and he can win this race.
So can he. Hunt Bodon's won the last 4 restrictor plate races. We're going to ride along and see how he's going to do it today, racing for the Copart Challenge of Champions in his Copart Toyota.
We also ride along with our current points leader, Ron Hornaday. Not only is the points leader overall, but also the points leader in the Copart Challenge of Champions. He'll be racing for Victory Junction, the Victory Junction Gang Camp, and American Cancer Society is going to be the charity for Todd Bodine. Copart giving $5,000 to the winner of the Copart Challenge of Champions. There's the points. This final race, the only one to determine who will be our champion. Before the green flag flies, let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thanks, Rick. The good news is they're saying one more lap we should get the white flag. Maybe 2 laps we'll be racing here at Talladega. You know, we talk about Terry Cook and that number 25 truck. How great would it be for Harris Trucking to get a win here at Talladega? His crew chief, Danny Rollins, has been using this exact same truck that Terry's driving today for a long, long time, since about 2002. The truck is called Freak, and it's got 3 wins at Daytona. That's an incredible pedigree, but I'll tell you what, there is no other truck in this racetrack that has anywhere near as many laps as they've had here at Talladega. They've done a lot of testing with this truck. It's very, very fast. Qualified second, Terry Cook looking for a victory here at Talladega. Adam?
Ray, 2 of the most unpredictable tracks on the NASCAR schedule, Daytona and here at the Talladega Superspeedway. To win back-to-back at those facilities, pretty tough to do, but Todd Bodine even better than that. 4 consecutive wins at the Superspeedway tracks in Truck Series competition. And he's not an all-or-nothing guy. He is steady Eddie. 8 starts, those 4 victories, 8 top 5s, 165 laps out front, and an amazing 2.3 average finish. Bodine starts 6th today, and there is no doubt he is good enough to go for 5 in a row. Krista?
Well, if you watched our pre-race show, you saw Johnny Sauter say his favorite Halloween costume ever was a California raisin. He has been raisin in the points quite a bit. Back in April when we were in Martinsville, he was 23rd. Coming out of Martinsville last week, 8th. Johnny Sauter is for real. He has a win this season. He wants another one. He said this track is ready to go. He said the only tricky part was getting on pit road. It was still a little wet, but he said right now it is good to go, and he is ready to go racing.
Thank you, Krista. Johnny Sauter, one of the 4 drivers that have been first-time winners in the Camping World Truck Series. Will we get another first-time winner? And could it come here at Talladega? We'll find out when we come back to Green Flag. Happy Halloween, Camping World Truck Series fans. The dynamic duo, all the good guys and bad guys had fun in our setup show. They're not the only ones who have had their Halloween spirit today. MRN Radio's Mike Bagley is up on top of one of the scaffoldings you will call the race for MRN Radio, and well, he's having fun. One of the great pumpkins. And I'm sure that after our race, the Trackside guys will also have fun. A special edition of Trackside will be coming up right after our race. So you'll want to stick around and see exactly what will happen on that show. I'm sure that they will have something up their sleeve as well. You see that the lights are not on anymore on the pace truck. That means that we are about to go racing. The guys are heating up the tires, and I think everything's about to heat up.
Business is picking up out here right now. These guys and girls are chomping at the bit too. We're just a little bit delayed over when we were supposed to start, but that for every one of those minutes, these drivers could not wait to get out here and get these things underway.
And you know, all morning there was a lot of doubt whether we would ever get to race or not. I mean, it rained all the way up until past noon here in Talladega. So when there's uncertainty, there's anxiety. And when you get in those trucks and fire them up, that anxiety tends to multiply with all the horsepower under the hood and what you're faced with. You saw the guys and gals coming down the back straightaway scuffing their tires in. That wasn't nerves as much as it was. They just wanted to make sure they had some heat in their tires and were ready to go racing.
Nervous energy potentially behind the wheel of 36 trucks. 36 trucks on the racetrack. And again, we're going to see not only 2 wide and 3 wide, but 4 wide racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. It is a big, big racetrack, and it's, well, sometimes we'll see the big one. Yeah, it'll take place.
It's crazy. You're getting ready to see something that's plumb amazing.
And look how calm Rick Crawford was sitting in that truck. Now, he's a former winner at Daytona in the Truck Series.
It is about to get crazy. This racetrack, a little unique in the fact that once they go through the tri-oval, then they will see the start-finish line. The field all in line. Colin Brown once again leading the field to the green flag in the Camping World Truck Series. We're underway at Talladega.
Great start there by Max Pappas. Max got a good start, shoved that 6th truck of Colin Brown out to the lead, And now look at those other guys regrouping to try to come after Colin.
Look at them spread out here, 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide.
4 wide down the back stretch they go. It's the first lap of racing from Talladega. How about Matt Crafton making the move on the outside?
How about Eric Almirola on the inside, following the 6 of Colin Brown. Look at him lined up on the outside. Kyle Busch third back.
2, 3, and 4 wide already coming out of turn 4. Jockeying for position as they come to lap number 1 being complete. It's Colin Brown that will
5 wide.
Be in front of him. 5 wide through the tri-oval. That's about what we saw at the end of last year's race when we had 15 trucks within a half a second of each other at the finish line. And this was just the first lap. Things are picking up already.
Right now, Colin Brown's best friend is that yellow line to the left of him, Phil. As long as he keeps that truck wide open and follows that yellow line, keeps the guy right behind him, he should be able to hang on to this lead. You saw folks charge to the front and get a chance to try to get up beside Colin Brown, but that inside lane was too strong and held him off.
And that truck has been so strong there. Obviously, he was our pole sitter, fastest in qualifying.
We saw that 88 of Matt Crafton almost problems there for the 50. That is Jennifer Jo Cobb, and it looks like a engine has expired for her race truck. But we saw Matt Crafton make his way all the way up and almost challenging for the lead. Now he is mired all the way back in the 12th position.
Same thing happened to Max Pappas on that first lap. He got a great run off turn 2. Looked like he hesitated about which way to go with his move, and that's all it took for him to wind up in the middle of a mess and fall back through the field.
Remember Terry Cook? Terry started in the outside of the front row. He came by last time in the 18th position.
Jockeying for position on this racetrack is amazing. And right now, everyone's friend is that double yellow line to the left.
A lot of smoke again for Jo Cobb's truck. She is going to appear to make it towards pit road. You see her to the right of your screen there.
As long as she continues to roll, we will continue to stay green. If she would come to a stop on pit road or to the entrance to pit road, then NASCAR would have to throw the caution.
How about Taylor Malson, that 81 truck, right back in the 4th spot, right behind Todd Bodine, 4-time winner, the last 4 races at this type of racetrack. And look at Ron Hornaday already up into the top 5.
And again, Ron Hornaday never has led a lap here at Talladega. Adam Alexander, what's going on with the 23 team?
Well, you guys upstairs a moment ago talking about those who had lost a number of positions in the early going. Put Jason White on your list. Great qualifying effort. Started on the outside of row number 2. He is now outside the top 20, riding 22nd, 3 laps in. No problems for White. Just got knocked out of the draft. So you see him trying to gain some positions, working the inside lane now. And oh, how things can change lap by lap here at Talladega.
That outside line right now is being led by the 5 of Mike Skinner. Skinner is being scored in the 11th position. That means the top 10 are all in a line on the inside row. Ray Dunlap.
Well, let me say the same thing that Adam talked about for Terry Cook. He got in the middle line in that Cajun Industries Toyota, and he said he did not like it at all. Cook has dropped back to the very back of the pack. He's about 23rd right now, starting to move back forward a little bit, but he said, I'll tell you what, that bottom line's got to be fast because I was going nowhere in a hurry in the middle.
And one of the things we really have to point out to the fans is something that our series director pounds into these drivers' heads. The bumpers do not line up on these vehicles, meaning if you come up behind a truck, you will lift its rear wheels off of the racetrack. You do not want to try to bump draft in this series.
And that's great to say, and most of these drivers understand that, but it's going to be hard to prevent these guys when they really need a little bit extra, later on in the race. Hopefully they won't do it early later on in the race. We're going to see some of that anyway.
Saw Skinner. He went across the start-finish line the lap before last in 11th place. He's up to 9th now. Got another guy on the top line in front of him, Johnny Sauter. Skinner was leading it. Johnny liked what he was seeing with that outside lane. Drove up there and joined that group, and they're beginning to make some inroads on that lead, Phil. That looks like they're up to about 7th or 8th now. They just keep on inching forward a little bit at a time. You've got to be patient, but you can get there.
And that's the problem. This racetrack is so wide open. You've got Colin Brown leading that group on the inside. They're going the short way around the racetrack, and they're not backing off at all.
Chris Devoda fitting for Halloween. Monster energy on that Ford truck. What are they doing?
Ricky Carmichael is sticking to his teammate Ron Hornaday like glue right now. He said the crew chief John Monson told Ricky Carmichael right now the 13 who was behind him in line down low said he's getting a little antsy. Just stick with Hornaday and keep chewing up that yellow line. Rick?
Yeah, it looks like the right front tire is down on TJ Bell's number 11 truck. And so that brings out our first caution of the day. TJ Bell couldn't get it down off of the racetrack early enough, and there might be some debris on the racetrack. Looked like the right front tire might have just shredded on that truck.
You can see right now the right front of that truck is dragging. He is actually throwing some debris out. I don't see where TJ made any contact with the wall, just undoubtedly ran over something, but little pieces of rubber right now flying out from under that truck.
You can see his right front fenders tore off there too where that tire exploded. If he doesn't do any more damage than that, Phil, I think they can put some tape patches on that truck and get TJ back into contention, but he needs to slow down and not let that tire just beat that fender to death. He drops his window net. I don't understand what he's doing there, because he can get that truck to pit road and maybe get the right front patched up and still be a contender.
It's still running. Ray, is there another problem?
Yeah, he said it's not just a flat tire. He thinks they locked up a wheel bearing, and he said it got on fire pretty bad. That's why TJ pulled over wanting to get out of the truck. He said it was something in the front, thinking maybe a wheel bearing.
It doesn't look like it would be a wheel bearing because the wheel's turning. He hadn't really run all that far, Phil.
Let's watch now. He's on the outside line. He feels something go wrong there, steps out of line. The tire actually went down right there. We could see bits of rubber fly off the truck at that very moment.
It's hard to understand what exactly did happen there. I was thinking it'd be hard for him to have run over any debris. They've had the jet dryers out there for hours. You know, anything that was on the track blew off. So something weird happened. I haven't seen anything that tells me what it was.
Adam Alexander.
And we can tell you that Kyle Busch is planning to come down pit road under caution here, as many of these drivers will, and he is dragging the splitter bad, so we will anticipate a number of changes for him. And Eric Almirola, they had also talked on the radio there. He's running second. They had mentioned possibly going under the hood. Not sure what the issue would be. We'll monitor their radio, see if we can find out when the pit road opens and these guys make their first stops of the day.
Again, early on in this race, we've completed 7 laps. On lap 8, as you see the 11 of TJ Bell making his way to his pit stall.
Remember, this happened to TJ just past the trial of the racetrack, so he had to ride around for over 2.5 miles with that tire doing all that damage, and you can see right there how much damage that tire did to that right front fender.
And they're looking in there to see if they can figure out what else might be wrong.
It doesn't look like the rotor's complete on that truck.
I don't think there's a brake rotor on that truck, is there?
Looked like it was almost sheared off about halfway up on the brake rotor, which that's definitely a problem. You don't think you would use brakes at a racetrack like this, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to tap the brakes to stay in line with everyone.
And you certainly have to use the brakes to avoid somebody.
Let's go down to pit road and Chris Devoda.
Ricky Carmichael is in. The big concern for a lot of these teams, including the 4, was that pit road was still a little damp, so they had to play conservative fuel only for the 4 of Carmichael.
Ron Hornaday is down and away also, Krista. They came in for fuel only in the Copart Chevrolet. They told Adam Krieger, make sure you pack it. Hornaday going back to the racetrack. Adam?
And it was fuel only for pole sitter Colin Brown. He takes advantage of that number 1 pit stall. He beats Eric Almirola on the first rally off the pit lane. It said Almirola may go under the hood. Nope, fuel only, no problems there.
Terry Cook must have some problems. They've got the hood up on that Cajun Industries number 25.
Looks like they're looking for something specifically. They're not just using a wrench to raise the front of the truck. They're looking for something that maybe has gone wrong with Terry's truck.
Oh, they are raising it. He must have been hitting. That's the 51 of Kyle Busch. We heard his team talking about the fact that he was bottoming out on the road, Phil. That's what Terry Cook would have been doing under the hood had he had similar problems. They were taking a wrench, raising the front of that truck up. He loved his truck yesterday in practice, said it was really fast, thought he might be one of the guys to beat. Obviously, it wasn't so good for those first 6-7 laps. But if you're going to give up track position, this is a good place to do it.
Now's the time to do it. We saw the 2-wide racing, and then there's Richie Waters, Kyle's crew chief right there. It's going to be interesting when we see this restart, because Colin Brown was able to pull that inside line and get an advantage. But when they have this restart here, obviously he's going to start from the pole, and it's going to be single file here for the last 4 races here. Then we're going to have double file restarts in 2010. It's going to be interesting to see if somebody can make a move on them.
Now, guys, while all the trucks, or most of the trucks, came onto pit road, a couple trucks stayed out there, and the Wallaces Chrissy and Michael Wallace stayed out on the racetrack, and so they were scored first and second just moments ago. Actually, Mike was in front of Chrissy.
I hope Mom got a picture of the scoreboard here at Talladega with her 2 trucks right up there on top of the pylon.
Again, the first father-daughter duo that have taken part in a NASCAR race. And now we see Mike Wallace leading Chrissy Wallace onto pit road. So a few trucks coming back onto pit road. Chris Devoto.
Mike Wallace down on pit road, as you said, right there, working on the crew, the Andy Hillenberg machine, Silverado for Mike Wallace. Yes, he is very good at plate tracks. Right now, not a lot of concern. He knows what to do. He knows how to use the draft to his advantage. You see the 48 pulling out. Adam.
And Chrissy Wallace has now made her way down pit road. She will get the service she needs before rejoining the field. They will wipe the windshield, and perhaps some fluid got on her windshield when that engine went down earlier in the race, but she was able to dodge the debris. They fuel the truck, and she pulls away. Compton pulls away behind her, and now Kyle Busch back in for a second stop. What they will do here is make sure the splitter is clear on the front end and pop it full of fuel one more time. We can tell you, despite the early issues for Kyle Busch, he has not been frustrated. He came over the radio and said, we've got all kinds of time to rally back to the front.
You know, a year ago, Kyle Busch was frustrated with the fact that he was leading and couldn't figure out how to win the race. He said, I don't know how to win these darn races. I don't know if I lay back, if I try to charge forward, but he wasn't able to stay out front.
You remember the same thing happened to him at Daytona. He had a chance to win the race on the last lap, ran into the guy lead, ran into Todd, but couldn't figure out how to pass him. And I think about the same thing happened again when he came here.
That almost looks like a perplexed Kevin Harvick on top of the pit box. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I was about to add actually on Terry Cook on the number 25. He came into the pits there, put 4 tires on that Cajun Industries Toyota, and the situation for him was a vibration in the front. So Danny Rollins calling for 4 tires on that round of the pit stop. We'll tell you if things get better for Terry here shortly.
So Terry Cook looks like he's got a lot of trucks he's going to have to get back by if he wants to get back up toward the front. Again, starting on the outside of row number 1 when this race started. Our first caution came out when TJ Bell had problems with the right front tire, put a little debris on the racetrack. They've cleaned that off, and now coming to the green flag, it will be the 41 of Chris Jones that is leading this field just in front of Colin Brown.
Ready. Now, Colin's not going to sit there, is he, Phil? He's going to try to jump on Chris Jones as soon as they say go. Chris got a good start on Colin. Oh, look at there.
Green flag back in the air. Chris Jones with a pretty good jump goes down to the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see if he stays down there.
That's going to be too big a jump, though. He doesn't want that much gap. Watch when Colin gets to him. He's just going to pull the train right around the outside.
You don't want to get a good jump. When he took off like that, you sort of knew what was going to happen. You want to keep those trucks bunched up behind you. Make them push you off on the start so that they can't get that big run. Chris fell back out of the top 5 and still falling.
Looks like Eric Almirola right now is continuing to see Kyle Busch pushing Stacy Compton up through there. Right now, Eric Almirola is patiently riding behind the 6 of Colin Brown, hoping that maybe they can get lined up again like they were at the beginning of the race.
Did you see Terry Cook looming right behind Kyle Busch? He saw what was happening there, wanted to be a part of that little gig.
We have a few different, I guess, clumps of trucks on the racetrack now. Here's a pretty good sized pack.
Chris Jones made a nice move.
He got just in front of that 4, Ricky Carmichael, and has moved into that 5th spot.
He was falling back quickly and found him a hole to jump in, and now leading that second group up.
We've got 4 trucks that have somewhat broken away from the pack, but I'm sure in just a matter of moments, that pack will catch right back up to them, right along with Timothy Peters.
That's the Toyota onboard right there. Look at 3 wide. You see Kyle Busch leading that group on the outside. Now he's going to have a little help in front of him. Rick Crawford pulled up to the outside. Kyle will be able to draft off him a little bit once he catches up.
We've seen that before where Matt Crafton will move out to the outside, hoping that he gets some help out there, and he just continues to drop back in that high line.
Well, that's a great view from the blimp right there.
It kind of looked like Frogger, didn't it?
Goodyear providing our aerial coverage. Official tire of NASCAR. Giving us some beautiful shots.
Look at that run that truck going around the outside of Ricky Carmichael has. That's Johnny Sauter. The 13 truck is going to bring the 17 of Timothy Peters, and there's Kyle in the 51. Kyle has made a major move since his pit stop.
Look the way they just shucked though. Ricky Carmichael. They just left him sitting still and drove right around him. Ricky's thinking, man, why didn't y'all follow me with all that momentum?
Here comes the outside line. Looks like a little more momentum. Johnny Sauter's going to come up to the back of that 5 of Mike Skinner. Actually going to go by the 5 of Mike Skinner, put him in the middle.
Here now Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch will move to the back of the 5. Oh, problems with an engine.
That's a 71 truck. Robert Richardson right there. Looks like he expired an engine. Right at the beginning of the trial, caution flag is out for the second time.
What a great job by all the competitors that were behind Richardson, and Richardson as well. No one panicked, Phil. That thing blew up. Everybody just sort of let off the gas, held their line, and no one got turned around.
And I'm sure Robert Richardson has come to a stop because he can't see. Smoke has consumed the cockpit of this race truck, and we saw the steering wheel coming off. He looks like he's going to try to jump out of that vehicle. Let's take another look at what happened. Again, it's the pumpkin on the hood.
Look at McCumbee sitting there. Just the whole world looks like ended right in his lap. But yet he was able to calmly make his way to the outside of the truck of Richardson. And Dennis Setzer right behind. You know, it could have turned into a chain reaction event, and it didn't. That's just good heads-up driving.
What a nice job by Robert Richardson, though. Obviously, watch how quick he gets down out of the way here to the apron of the racetrack.
It's down out of the line of traffic.
He's running over 180 miles an hour. Remember that.
Right along with Rick Crawford just in front of him. You're going to see the smoke.
Rick said, boy, I'm glad I wasn't in that line.
So our second caution has taken place at Talladega Superspeedway. Both of them have been single truck incidents, thankfully. We'll be right back with more Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Yamaha. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. That could come into play here at Talladega. We've already had a few trucks on pit road after our first caution. Our second caution came out when Robert Richardson's engine in the 71 expired as they were coming out of turn number 4. A little bit of a hairy moment for Chad McCumbee just behind him. But Robert Richardson, good heads-up move, goes down to the apron quickly.
What you have to understand, you know, McCumbee saw what happened. But after that, Setzer and those guys that were running behind McCumbee, they were blinded. So they just had to hope that nothing went crazy in front of them and they could get through it. Adam, what's happening on pit road? Well, they do that 51.
Really no changes to the 51, just added fuel, Mikey, and they didn't have much track position after making a couple of stops the last time, so it wasn't 2 stops, it was an extended stop. But anyhow, they came down pit road to top off the fuel tank. They wouldn't really lose any track position, and they're still dragging that splitter, and Kyle talked on the radio about how difficult it is to set the splitter height because you set it up and then you get out and there's so much difference as far as travel in the draft. So they're still working on that, but I think he feels pretty confident. Krista?
Down here in Ricky Carmichael's camp, the plan for them was tires first. They did a tire stop, and now they're going to come back in for fuel. They said, whatever you do, Ricky, do not speed. That was the instructions from crew chief John Monson. He also asked Ricky on that last run, how was your truck in the middle? Ricky's answer, perfect.
Field just getting the 1 to go sign before the green flag will slip away quickly and be right back in 60 seconds to catch that green flag going back in the air. Attention all you Digger fans, you can now get Digger on your computer and get free Digger videos, wallpapers, games, and more. Visit digger.ask.com today.
Does Digger Twitter?
If he does, I bet he's following you.
Here's your Aaron's Lucky Dog. We're going to hand that right over to Brandon Knupp in his number 47 truck. Aaron's is a big sponsor of the Talladega Speedway. In the spring, they have the Aaron's Dream Weekend here. Tomorrow, David Rudin will drive the Aaron's car in the big race. Today, they're giving away laps.
Leaves us with 33 trucks on the lead lap right now.
Coming up on lap 18, Colin Brown, Eric Almirola, Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday bring the field back to the green flag.
Now that's a textbook start there for Colin Brown. Look right on his bumper is a truck of Almirola. You know, he didn't put a gap on Eric, so Eric couldn't get a big head of momentum after him. He sustained that start. He held him off for the critical moment, and now he's going to stay pinned to that white line, yellow line, and try to lead this race.
And this is when Colin right now is the most vulnerable. If Eric had any momentum at all, he has the 30th Tabodine behind him. He may have chose to pull out, but looks like he's very content to ride behind that 6 truck. Obviously, he knows that truck is extremely strong.
Yeah, he won the pole by close to a half a second. He was way faster than the field in qualifying, and right now he just pulled him along in a nice straight line. I guarantee you those first 8 or 10 guys are pretty content right now. It doesn't look like it in that view. Look like they're getting a little antsy, but they should be pretty content right now just to ride, log some laps. Now you get back around 10th or 12th, though, that's when you might see some guys try to form up and come on the outside and make a run toward the front.
And that's what Eric Almirola looks like he's doing right now, logging laps right behind that 6 of Colin Brown. Is that what he's doing, Adam?
You guys have hit the nail squarely on the head. Under that last caution, Eric Almirola came over the radio and said, I'm just riding. No problems at all with the truck, so that is very good. And now I've been passed a note. They have a problem with the oil and water temperatures running low. They have some tape ready to put on the grill when they come back down pit road. So that's something to watch as far as Eric Almirola is concerned. When you talk about Colin Brown, he loves being out front, but he's been there before. He ran an ARCA race here a couple of years ago, and of course the truck race a year ago. In both of those events, he led at the white flag, but didn't win the race. He knows he's got a long way to go.
Another thing to consider, guys, is as those trucks ride in line like that, second, third, fourth, somebody back there might have an overheating problem. They can't just sit there and ride in line even though they're content. They might have to get out of line, get some air to their grill, and they're not just going to pull out of line and fall back. They're going to make sure they try to, when they do pull out of line, they drive toward the front.
They're only going to pull out a half a truck length maybe, just to get a little bit of air in one side of that grill, because they do not want to give up this spot they have right now in line.
It almost sounded surprising to me that somebody would be running too cool. Having to add tape to try to get the oil temperature to come up a little bit doesn't sound normal.
That's pretty normal, especially on a cold day. The temperature's a little bit colder today than it was yesterday. So calculating exactly how much tape you run on the grill of your truck is something these crew chiefs are very serious about. They try to think that they can do it perfectly, and sometimes they miss.
Let's keep an eye on this outside line. Now Kyle Busch is pretty racy. He's got Johnny Sauter with him. Now he has some more help. Some other guys pull out in the outside line.
A lot of communication from spotters to drivers, letting them know who's moving and where. How about the 14 of Rick Crawford, Ray?
Well, Rick, he just missed his opportunity. He came on the radio and said, let me know if that outside line starts to make a go. He was at the very tail of the front group in about 11th, and just as the spotter said, get ready, that group came so fast and went by Crawford, he wasn't able to join the pack. When that outside line gets ready to go, they form up in a hurry, and watch them. They're going to be coming on that outside.
Well, they made a little bit of progress, but it almost seems as though that progress has stalled out right now. Look like now Johnny Sauter looked for an instant like he may pull out to go to the outside of Kyle Busch. He did do that.
He does. He wasn't liking the progress he and Kyle were making. Kyle's truck is still hitting the ground. We saw some sparks flying out from under the 51 truck, so that might have not made him as fast as Johnny hoped he would be. But he can't complete the pass. They are 3 wide, though.
Yeah, there's Johnny Sauter leading that pack on the very outside. Has Stacy Compton, Timothy Peters right behind him.
There was so much momentum in that 17 truck of Timothy Peters until he got right up to the back of the 60 of Stacy Compton, and then that momentum died, and now we see the 17 actually dropping back a bit.
And Kyle's making some progress. He's up beside Terry Cook, it looks like, right now. Or is that Crawford?
Rick Crawford.
Rick Crawford, 14 truck. Right behind J.R. Fitzpatrick, who's doing a nice job right now running in the top 10 in that 29 truck.
And we see right behind Rick Crawford's truck the 8 of Dennis Setzer, who we normally talk about being a short track racer, but holding his own right here at the biggest track on the circuit.
Man, I've been in those, obviously, for the last 25 years, Rick. I've been out there in the middle of all that on Sunday afternoon. And despite the fact that it looks relatively calm down on that inside, look at Pappas jumping around trying to figure out what he wants to do. I don't think he quite knows yet. He's trying to learn. Skinner's going to join that outside line to try to, what I'm saying, Phil, despite the fact that it looks calm down there running third or fourth, you're not. You're tense as ever because you don't know if these guys are going to stay in line. You're trying to watch that outside group to see if they're going to make any progress. Do you need to jump up there and get in line with them? What to do? So every second there's a decision to be made.
And we talk about it a lot. but I cannot emphasize enough that those drivers right now are looking in the mirror as much as they're looking out the windshield, and that includes the 6 of Colin Brown, who's leading this race.
Straight up your ass, still inside, still lining.
That outside is now driven up another spot or two. They're gaining on it. You know, and Phil, if they can ever inch their way all the way to the front, I think at that point there isn't really an advantage to one lane or the other. Right now, the reason why that inside line is able to hold them off is because there's no arrow drafting the side of the 6 truck of Colin Brown. He's got clean air in front of him and beside him, and he's getting a push from behind. It's a perfect world right now for Colin Brown, but Kyle Busch and Mike Skinner, it looks like, are going to eventually get there.
We're beginning to see some momentum on the outside line. In practice, we hear drivers talk a little bit about, I run better in front of this truck. Is that the case right now with Mike Skinner in front of Kyle Busch?
Well, Mike Skinner did the same thing earlier. He got in line in front of the outside pack when it got to him. He likes his truck up there. He thinks he can pull that outer line to the front. And what he also likes right now is Kyle Busch being behind him, because Kyle knows how to bump draft. Kyle can put his bumper to Mike's. Mike's confident that Kyle's not going to wreck him, and he's going to push him as good as possible. And right now they're coming to the lead.
Here comes that outside line. Adam Alexander.
Kyle Busch just said, I think I'm the only one in this outside lane that knows how to push. Jeff Dickerson, the spotter, trying to help him with that. And now Kyle going to get a little help, it looks like, from behind. Outside lane gets the advantage. Mike Skinner appears to have the point.
And now when the outside line comes up like it does, then the guys on the inside aren't going to be quite as patient as they have been. Look at Todd. He's thinking about going up through the middle.
Across the stripe, it was Colin Brown that was out front, but Mike Skinner was just 61 1/1000ths of a second behind him in that outside line.
Johnny Sauter jumps to the outside, actually gets out of that line.
That might be a case there, Phil, where he just got too much water temperature. It might have gotten a little hot. He said, I'm going to have to take a break from this action, guys, and get my water temperature down.
He knows we have 69 laps left. Plenty of time. He can get to the pit road there, take some more tape off.
Look at our buddy Mario Goslin and his monkey tire truck.
My Tire Monkey. MyTireMonkey.com truck. And what a great day it is for Mario Goslin. Obviously, having the sponsor come on board and letting him know that he's going to be running a complete season in 2010. He wants to be competitive and see if he can run for a championship next year.
I'm telling you, I'm watching Colin Brown. That truck's dancing around a little bit.
Well, it's because of the fact that the outside line has gotten there. It's slowed the inside line down. Now they're getting a lot of bump drafting. A lot of trucks are being able to push right up from behind and make trucks unstable. There goes cracking a flat tire.
Problems with the 80-80. Almost gets into the wall. There must be some issues with that truck.
I believe he's got a flat tire. It looked like he got a little squirrely when he jumped out of the throttle.
Slowing way down. It looks as though the left side tires are up. The right front tire looks up. Maybe that right rear.
Judging from the way it acted, it has to be a right rear tire. Look at Skinner. He's gotten the lead from Colin Brown down in turn 3. But here comes that inside line. A big push from Eric Almirola is going to give Brown the lead back.
Mike Skinner may have been able to pull down in front of Colin Brown, but he wasn't going to leave his wingman. Kyle Busch helped him get there. He stayed out there right in the outside line.
Boy, you have to really trust exactly what that guy behind you is doing. Right now, Mike Skinner's whole race, his whole day is in the hands of Kyle Busch. How hard will Kyle push me, and will he make sure he pushes me properly?
Sure enough, right rear tire down on the 88 of Matt Crafton. Right.
And he's going to come to the pits here, Rick, to put right side tires on this thing. But while he sits here and they get that action done, it's very likely that the field will roll by him through the tri-oval here. The guys go, they're going to do just 2 tires for him. Not very likely that he can get back out of the pits before the field goes by. Work is done. Here goes Crafton. Will he make it out? Yes, he's going to beat the field and stay on the tail end of that lap.
Well, they're going to have a head of steam, though, when they get there. He may go back a lap down, but he'll be in a great position for that Aaron's lucky dog if he does get down a lap.
Yeah, he'll be the only truck that's 1 lap down. Norm Benning is now 3 laps down to the field. So Matt Crafton will be, as you mentioned, the first truck that will be eligible for that lucky dog from Aaron's. How about Colin Brown pulling that inside line back out to the front?
Boy, they're 3 and 4 wide getting around the 88 of Matt Crafton as he comes back to the racetrack. Let's see if we can take a look at back what happened to Matt Crafton. Look right at your screen. He's going to, you see him wiggle right there. He felt that right rear tire go down, moves up way out of the way, does a great job of not causing anybody else any problems.
And plus there was just enough racetrack for him not to hit that outside wall. The thing gets squirrely with him. He tries to hang on to it and then makes up his mind that something's bad wrong.
The outside line works its way very high through the tri-oval and then comes back down as they cross the start-finish line. It was Colin Brown just behind Mike Skinner by 1/1000th of a second. So Mike Skinner leads that lap here at Talladega.
How about Ron Hornaday? Has he led a lap?
No, but Todd Bodine hadn't won yet either. I'm saying neither one. I'm saying both those streaks end today. Ron Hornaday will lead this race, and I just can't see how Todd Bodine could be fortunate enough to win 5 of these in a row. Could you imagine?
He's in a great position right now. Obviously has a great truck. Just riding along here. Look, they have a lap truck. They're going to have to move up the racetrack to get around this lap truck.
We've got a smoker down on the infield.
Tough break, Jason White.
Jason White in the 23. Looks like the motor's expired for him. We're also seeing Mike Wallace in that white number 48 getting passed on the inside.
Mike's going to try to jump in the tail end of this lead pack.
Yeah, he's now the first truck a lap down. He would get the Aaron's lucky dog if Crafton doesn't get to him soon. It'd be a tough break for Matt Crafton.
The field working its way down the back stretch. Adam Alexander.
It's been interesting listening to you guys and the observations you're making upstairs about the low lane versus the high lane. Kyle Busch hearing from the spotter stand, the low lane is the way to go. And Colin Brown, the leader who has that pack in tow on the bottom side of the racetrack, is hearing the same thing from both his spotter and crew chief on the stand. They said you are right where you need to be. The low line is the fast one as of now. Krista?
Wait, not so fast, Adam. Brian Scott thinks the outside is the place to be, and so does his team. They are pumping their fists in the air every time Brian Scott goes by. He's currently the 3rd truck in that outside lane. He is sticking on the tail of Kyle Busch. Brian Scott, only 1 race here at this track, but it was a top 10. He finished 7th. And remember, he is not just chasing a win. He is chasing Todd Bodine in the points. He is only 10 points out of 4th.
Thank you, Krista. I tell you, you guys, obviously, right now, we've got Mike Skinner and Kyle Busch. They have pulled out in front of Colin Brown. I'm sure they're going to be bringing their trucks down as they do right now to the bottom line. They will take over the top 2 spots. But we see these trucks moving around this racetrack, and they're very close, and yet it is so difficult to explain how much of a technique this is to run so close to each other, but still you've got to ride the brakes, and at the same time you got to look behind, you got to look forward. There's so many things going on.
There's 100 things going on, Rick, and you're exactly right. It's and so every second mentally it's just taxing. You're trying to make sure you're looking every which way, and you can't look every which way. So the drivers right now, this is as tense as it'll be all year long. Whether you're Mike Skinner leading the race or Kyle Busch in second, all the way back to the guys at the back of this pack, everybody is just wide open, flat out mentally right now, trying to figure out what to do next.
And that's why this race is so mentally exhausting, way more than physically exhausting. But watch Andy Lally. What a nice run up through the middle of the racetrack he has.
Look at Johnny Sauter. He said, how'd you do that? I'm going to try. That worked out pretty good. Andy Lally probably qualified a couple of seconds off the pole. You know, he qualified in the back in a truck that didn't have all the speed it needed. But now look at him. He looked like Superman charging through the middle.
How about these Copart trucks lining up on the middle of the racetrack, trying to put that 6 truck behind them on the outside?
Now they're running close to 185, 90 miles an hour. Do you see them wiggling around? This isn't just a free ticket. You've got to drive your rear end off, and Todd Bodine's going to inch toward the front of this pack with Ron Hornaday pushing him.
Here comes that second line, and now to the way outside goes the 6 of Colin Brown in the Conway Freight Ford F-150. Adam Alexander.
It is so interesting when you look at rivalries and then how they play out on a restrictor plate track or a super speedway for the truck series. Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday over the years have had their run-ins, but when I asked Bodine in the garage this morning, who do you draft best with? He said without hesitation, Ron Hornaday, and here they are hooked up together, bringing the outside lane to the front to the tri-oval.
And just one slight miscalculation by one of these drivers who's pushing another. Look at Ron Hornaday right on the back of Todd Bodine down in the center of the corner. One slight miscalculation, just off center a little bit with your push, and you're going to turn a truck around right in the middle of the pack.
And look right now, about 4th in line, maybe 5th in line on that outside line is a 6 of Colin Brown. That's why you never know what's going to happen at the end of the race, because Colin was dominating this race. Everybody content to ride along behind him, and then the outside line came. He got shuffled out, and here he is now trying to stay in the top 10.
Mike Skinner again leading the field down on the bottom of the racetrack. The 51 of Kyle Busch just behind him. Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday are on the outside. We still see that 15 of Eric Almirola right in the top 5. He's third back on the inside line.
Check out Mario Goslin. He's up inside the top 10 in his truck.
How about right behind Colin Brown, that 53 truck? Justin Hobgood, his second start of the year, up here in the lead draft, racing well.
Max Pappas also in the number 9. He's in the top 10, running well on the bottom of the racetrack.
This is just hard to expect that they can run this close and this tight all day long and not have somebody make a mistake. It's just almost humanly impossible to ask all these guys to be perfect this whole race.
And remember, you told Rick how the bumpers really don't line up. You really have to know what you're doing to push somebody here without getting them squirrely.
Wayne Auton has come on the radio to a few different teams and said, guys, cool it out there. One of those in particular, the 33 and the 30, said you can't run nose to tail bumping all the way around this racetrack. It's too dangerous.
Had a lead change by 1/100th of a second. Todd Bodine edge out in front of Mike Skinner. Skinner now has a lead back. We've probably had a dozen lead changes at the start-finish line, and maybe about 50 more the rest of the way around the track, huh, Phil?
Ron Hornaday's in a good spot to maybe get that first lap led here at Talladega Superspeedway. Right now running second right behind Todd Bodine in that outside line. That doesn't mean he's second in the race. He's just second line right now.
And again, officially, NASCAR calls a lead change when it takes place at the start-finish line. We've had 7 lead changes between 5 different drivers, and we're hearing now that it's a hood flap that has come off the right front of that 33 of Ron Hornaday.
The cowl flap. There's actually a cowl flap on each side of that of the hood of that truck. Let's see if we can take a look back at how that thing went. While you're looking at the right side of your screen, watch the front of that 33 truck.
In order for that flap to pop up, you have to have negative air pressure right there at the hood, and he's got all of his air off of his hood. He's right on Todd Bodine. Watch it open when he hits Todd.
Yeah. And then it closed when he moved back away from him.
And then he's second back in that middle line, and there it goes. Flies off of the truck.
Now they could black flag him and ask him to come in and put another flap on that truck.
Yeah. Take a look on board.
When you're right on someone, your flap's open.
And there it goes. It's just held on really with a very, very small aluminum bracket, a hinged bracket.
It's supposed to have a spring that holds it down as well. The spring keeps it from flapping back and forth unnecessarily, and the spring either came undone or didn't do its job for the other.
There's so much air and wind that buffets off of these trucks, and we saw how it was able to pull a piece of metal off of the 33. Well, that also leaves a piece of debris on the racetrack, and that is why we are under the 3rd caution. It is debris on the racetrack. That is the hood flap from Ron Hornaday's truck. Oh, the Albertsons number 16 of Brian Scott just ran over that piece of metal.
Well, the good news is that's just a piece of aluminum. That will not affect it. I don't even think that could cut a tire down. But I'm not sure if NASCAR won't make Ron Hornaday's team put another cowl flap on, and they may not be prepared to do that. That's not something that you would automatically have a spare of.
And when you put it on, it has to be functional. You can't just tape one on there because it has to operate so that if the truck spins, the flap opens, keeps the truck on the ground.
They may have sent somebody back to the truck, to the backup truck, to get one of those off of there, and then they will try to rig some sort of a bracket to attach that to that truck.
Aerodynamics are so important at these racetracks. Now, a lot of times, if there's an accident, something happens, we see the Bondo or the Barabon going on a car or a truck. Is this a situation? Is it required to have that flap?
Yes.
So he will have to have that flap put back on. And that's why the NASCAR
is working with them there. And you can't just tape it over. It has to be functional. Now, if you have damage and your truck's not up to speed, they'll let you pretty much tape it up where it'll go run. But when you're competitive and racing for a win, you have to stay within the rules. You have to have all the aerodynamic devices that are on the truck for safety purposes working.
You know, one thing we have to remember now, the reason for that cowl flap is to let air out from underneath the hood of that truck if that truck was to get sideways. With that open now, NASCAR may determine that is functioning. That's really a disadvantage for them, that the fact that there's no hinged piece right there now. So NASCAR may say, hey, if you're okay with it, we're okay with it, because right now it will do what it's designed to do and let air out from under the truck.
And that's a disadvantage for Ron Hornaday?
It will be a disadvantage, a less aerodynamic front end for that truck than it would be.
But the problem would be if Rick Wren said, we're just going to come in and tape that hole up, and NASCAR would have a problem with that.
And we see Rick Wren continuing to talk to not only the team, but he was talking to the NASCAR officials.
They're making a plan.
In the big picture here, Ron Hornaday comes into this race with a 224-point lead. There are currently 6 trucks that are off the racetrack. Jason White, Murphy, Brendan Nutt, Robert Richardson,
We just got the okay
TJ
to cover
Bell, and Jennifer Jo
On
Cobb.
the
And we
fuel
just
stop. Okay,
heard
guys, this is
we
4
can
tires,
just
4
cover
tires
it.
only. Trucks are coming off 4.
And now they're saying they can't cover it.
I don't see how they could let them cover it.
But again, 6 trucks are off of the racetrack. Norm Benning's 3 laps down. Matt Crafton is still a lap down. Steve Park a lap down. Mike Wallace was a lap down, but now we're going to have an Aaron's lucky dog because of this caution.
We're getting a report that NASCAR has told them that they can leave it like it is. They cannot just cover it and not have it functional.
Let's go down to pit road. Chris DeVota.
Brian Scott is in the first pit stall. He said, yes, he did run over that piece of aluminum, but it was laying flat, hit it with his right side, and that is why this team decided to call the audible. They said they were only going to do right side tires. You see crewman under the fender. Everything is clear. Right side tires only for Brian Scott. Adam.
Chris, I'll grab it because Mike Skinner is getting 4 tires also. And my end of pit road, it'll be a classic double dip. Tires now and fuel later. Now at Adam.
Middle of your screen, Kyle Busch getting his left side tires. That completes a 4-tire stop. Top of 9, pulling away bottom of your screen, gets turned around. He will lose a ton of track position. Brian Scott, the first off pit road.
Todd Bodine came out of his pit stall, and again, there is some wet pavement down there. Todd Bodine getting on the gas, spun all the way around. There was no contact, but he got turned around. Now he comes back out on the racetrack. Again, 4-time winner at these super speedways, 4 in a row.
He just said he spun out in the wet.
Yeah, he almost spun out again, trying to get back on the racetrack, Adam.
And I think you heard on our air, the radio from the team, the plan is to come back and get another set of tires, fearing that when Todd pulled away and spun around, he flat spotted the ones they had just put on. You almost have to be perfect to win one of these races. Todd Bodine knows how critical that is, having so much success. He's going to have to rally back from some adversity here. They will come back for tires and then come back a 3rd time to fuel the truck, and we will see all these guys come back down pit road here to get fuel. That will happen at lap 41.
Michael, I believe I would leave those tires on there.
Those tires are fine. Hello.
So the only time that you flat spot tires is when you lock them up, because he wasn't going fast enough to just slide sideways and flat spot them.
Well, when the tires are brand new, they're very slippery anyway, so it's not going to hurt anything.
And we could see we never saw those tires stop turning either. I don't believe I would change tires if I was them.
For precaution, they can change them, then they can put them.
They can also put those back on if they need to.
But you know, we heard Adam talking about you have to be perfect to win one of these things. If you're going to make a mistake, you better make it in the first half. And get your then put together a perfect race from there on out. You can get a mulligan or 2 if it just amounts to what Todd just did. He can still win this darn race.
6 laps away from halfway in this race. Let's go to Krista.
1 can of fuel and part of the second for Brian Scott. They made the right side tire change on the first time. They came back in to get 1.5 cans of fuel. Ray.
Here's the situation on the 33. They do not have to replace that flap. NASCAR told them that it was an operable flap beginning. They cannot cover it, but they can leave it just the way it is. Lots of fuel going in. Hornaday stalls his truck. They'll push him here, try to refire. He's going to lose a couple of spots, but they're allowed to leave it the way it is. Adam?
Kyle Busch got fuel only on his 2nd trip down pit road. Brian Scott holds serve. Busch was 2nd, Skinner 3rd as they exit at lap 41.
So the truck's continuing to come off of pit road, a little bit wet pit road, and around goes Todd Bodine, but he's back going the right direction. Bones having a little fun with our camera crew. Rick Wren, not so much fun right now here at Talladega. Green flag just going back in the air, and Matt Crafton charging to the lead on the bottom of the racetrack. Actually, Matt Crafton a lap down, but he's trying to be on the lead lap.
Chrissy Wallace is leading for a moment. Timothy Peters fighting back on the outside.
Again, Matt Crafton losing a lap after his right rear tire went down on the racetrack. He had to come in. He lost that lap. Now he's out in front of the field, so he's at the back, the tail end of the lead lap right now.
Chrissy had that lead from the most part of the lap, Phil. She couldn't quite hold off the train that was coming from behind with Eric Almirola. And is that his teammate Kyle Busch pushing him?
That's Brian Scott in that 16 truck that jumped outside of Chrissy Wallace.
And here comes Kyle Busch to the back bumper of the 16 of Brian Scott. Brian Scott, your leader, is across the start-finish line. Kyle Busch running second.
Mike Skinner lined up behind Kyle Busch in the third position on the inside row. There's Timothy Peters on the outside. Chad McCumbee, the 07 T-Wee Chevrolet, right behind him.
There comes the truck of Amarola. He's up to the 5th spot. Fighting down on the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody's sort of liking that bottom once they get sorted out, Phil.
Yeah, I think it takes a pretty special draft on the outside to make any ground up. Right now, Chad McCumbee is the first truck on the outside. Todd Bodine's trying to fight back from that spin on pit road. He did not put tires on when he came back in the pits. He just did fuel his second pit stop.
Ray Dunlap right now, that 5 of Mike Skinner running in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, he's in a good position, Rick, but he just came on the radio and said, somebody tell Kyle Spotter that I don't have a strong enough grill on this to go up and bump draft with him and help him the way he was helping me earlier when he was in the behind position and giving us a great push to the lead. He said, we just don't have that in this particular truck. I'll stay right with him and not hang him out, but I'm not going to be able to bump draft.
Again, Brian Scott out in front in his Toyota Tundra. Right behind him, another Toyota, then another Toyota, and then the Ford of Colin Brown running 4th right now.
Saw Kyle Busch pull up to the rear bumper of Brian Scott. Todd goes way high on the outside, losing ground. Something may be wrong with Todd Bodine.
That outside line, or at least the second line, has been moving, but just outside of it in that 30, Todd Bodine looks to be shuffled back.
Sounds like it's running okay.
Adam Alexander, is there a problem with this truck?
He just came on the radio and said they hung us out, so he's going to have to make another rally. And you can see him pulling to the outside again, but he has had no indication of a problem with the truck. He simply said, we lost the draft and we got to make it up again.
Amazingly enough, you can see when he gets back there about 2, 3, 4 truck lengths, he gets a huge run, and if he'd have some help, he'd be able to run to the front.
Stacy Compton pulls out from around, makes it 3 wide. As the 8 of Dennis Setzer right behind him.
Talked about Matt Crafton. He's currently riding along in the Aaron's Lucky Dog spot. Mike Wallace got the Lucky Dog during that last caution, so Mike got a lap back and Chrissy was leading the race. That was a Steve Park got his lap back. He and Mike Wallace were racing hard for that Lucky Dog, and Steve Park got it back, so now he's in contention.
Timothy Peters on that outside line in the Strut Masters number 17. And now we see the 88 coming out to see if he can get into that second line and see if it moves. Here comes Eric Almirola in the 15. He'll go to the back bumper of the 88, see if they can make that top line move.
Here's Mario Goslin, Terry Cook, the Cajun Toyota. There's Norm Benning. Norm has a great run going.
Look at that line.
Justin Hopgood goes by. There's Dennis Setzer.
This time by, it will be the halfway point. We will have completed 47 laps. You see that 33 of Ron Hornaday down toward the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Timothy Peters moving by him on the outside. Ray Dunlap.
Yeah, Hornaday is to the back of the pack right now, no doubt about it, but you'll notice that the Monster Energy Drink Chevrolet right behind him, that's his teammate Ricky Carmichael, and Hornaday came on the radio saying, make sure Ricky stays with me when I go to the high side. Looks like Hornaday's getting ready to go there. He's coming up through the middle. We'll see if the 4 goes with him. He's going to need some help in the middle.
How about Matt Crafton trying to get that truck toward the front?
Wow,
we saw a little.
These two have.
Yeah, we saw bobble early on by the 33 of Hornaday's team with a foot flap coming off, and now Crafton moves all the way to the front of the field. Again, he has to get a lap back, though. He's 1 lap down. He's trying to race back that lap.
That's a nice push by Eric Almirola. I think that 15 truck is by far one of the strongest trucks we have in the field right now.
That's the biggest push I've seen today. Crafton on the nose of Eric Almirola. They drove all the way to the front. Check that out.
Eric Almirola will lead that lap.
Eric Almirola out in front. He was pushing the 88 of Matt Crafton. He was able to get just in front of Brian Scott by 13 1,000th of a second.
Oh, look at Terry Cook.
Terry Cook looking to the inside, trying to go in the middle. Eric Almirola and Matt Crafton closing the door now.
Check out Almirola's hood flaps. His nose flaps are flopping up and down just like Hornaday's did when he was tucked up underneath a truck. So those things are vulnerable to flop around if you get really close to a truck in front of you.
How about this outside line now moving very well around the inside line?
And we have great trucks lined up on the inside. Brian Scott, Kyle Busch, the 5 of Mike Skinner, Colin Brown all on the inside, and the outside line's holding its own at least.
Adam Alexander, what's happening with Eric Almirola?
He is very confident, Rick, and he likes his truck despite the fact that he's only been here 5 different times, 3 in the Sprint Cup Series, 1 in Nationwide, and 1 start in the trucks back in 2007. So he hasn't had a lot of experience here at Talladega, never has recorded a top 10, but he was one of those drivers that felt like his truck did everything it needed to do in practice yesterday, and that has related well to the race here this afternoon.
Terry Cook gets hung out now as the front truck of Matt Crafton gets in front of at least enough room for the 15. A little contact there. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Johnny Sauter in the 13. He was pushed down there, so that's not going to be a penalty.
Well, and I love the job Johnny Sauter did right there. He just said, I got room over here to the left. We got a little bit of a problem. I'm going to get out of the way. Mario Goslin has been steady and strong in that MyTireMonkey.com truck. This is a great story. His kids down on pit road dressed up like monkeys, and then I'll be a monkey's uncle. He ended up in the front of the pack all day long.
But Ray stole all the kids' candy yesterday during our qualifying show.
Watch what Mario decides to do. He's going to go inside
J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 29.
In the 29, and then gets a little contact. And watch Johnny Sauter. He said, I'm getting out of the way. That's just a great move.
And remember now, you can go below that yellow line as long as you don't advance your position. Obviously, Johnny didn't do that.
Got right back in line just behind that 6 of Colin Brown. You see a little shuffling of position just in front of that group. 2 and 3 wide. We saw Max Pappas make a heck of a move to the inside as he charges toward the front now.
They're coming with you. 4 with you.
Max
inside.
Pappas in the 5th position, or 6th position now.
Getting crazy out there.
It is getting unbelievable. Adam Alexander.
Rick, we were talking just a moment ago about Mario Goslin and a nice job he's done today. And so many times when you see a driver like Mario, somewhat underfunded, competing at this stage of the race, you think it has to be related to strategy, but that's not the case. They came down like all the other leaders at lap 8, put fuel in the truck. They went 4 tires and came back and topped off with fuel at laps 40 and 41. And while he has slid back in the draft a bit, this is a team who feels very competitive here today, Ray.
And you see Taylor Malsom back in the back part of the pack there in the number 81. He is in 21st position right now. The reason is his truck is way too loose coming off the corner. On the last round of pit stops, they dropped the track bar 2 rounds, but he said it just feels like it didn't make any difference to that 180 Toyota.
Usually handling isn't as much of a factor here at Talladega as it is a lot of other tracks, but one of those things gets loose up in the middle of that draft, and you got your hands full.
Max is looking for a line right now. He wants to stay in front of somebody and see if that line will move. He jumps in front of the 33 of Ron Hornaday, and now Hornaday says, no, I'm not going to stay behind you, but they'll get shuffled back.
That's Todd his teammate, Todd Bodine, right behind Max.
Looks like Todd doesn't want to run with his teammate either. He went a little going high on Max.
Max is going to pull it down to the inside, but Terry Cook now is taking that spot in the middle of the racetrack. Todd's going to go around the outside to make it 4 wide.
4 wide through the tri-oval across the stripe. Again, Matt Crafton is at the tail end of the lead lap. Our race leader is Eric Almirola. Brian Scott, Kyle Busch, Mike Skinner, Colin Brown are your top 5 as they cross the stripe. Johnny Sauter, Chad McCumbee, Stacy Compton, Mario Goslin, and Terry Cook are your top 10 at Talladega Superspeedway. Only 41 laps remain to find out who will visit Victory Lane today. Happy Halloween, everyone. Brian Cutler piloting the Goodyear blimp here. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy.
His co-pilot looked a little skinny.
He's having some fun with us here on our broadcast. I think his arm's going to be tired here momentarily. Getting tired might be Johnny Sauter having to go from the front to the back to the front to the back. Right now in the middle of the pack.
You're right, Rick. He's been all over the place. He's got the guy that ran him down in the infield pushing him now. So they were about to run over each other. Now they're pushing each other.
Stacy Compton's leading that pack on the outside. Has Todd Bodine, the 30, right behind him.
Todd and Ron Hornaday were making some real good progress up through there. I saw Stacy Compton pull out. It slowed their progress, and actually Ron has now fallen some 6 or 7 trucks behind Todd.
Adam Alexander, what's happening with Chad McCumbee?
Nothing, and that's a good thing. It's been a quiet day for them, but solid as we have come to expect from that 07 group. Chad McCumbee behind the wheel makes them a player week in and week out. He has not been behind the wheel of that truck throughout the year because of funding issues. After starting 12th today, he has moved up into the top 7. He's doing it quietly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a player before this thing's over with.
That's a mess.
Yeah, things are all but quiet on the racetrack right now. We saw TJ Bell. He's back on the racetrack. He's quite a few laps down. He had the problem early on where his tire went down. He was on pit road. They had a lot of work to do on that right front of that truck, but he's back out there. And a lot of guys had to avoid there when they went by him.
Look at those trucks trying to protect that inside at all, all they can, making sure they're staying exactly on that yellow line and sometimes under it. You can go under it as long as you don't advance your position. So they're just hedging their bet a little bit, making sure they've got that inside blocked off. They don't want anybody getting a run on the inside of them.
That fun sand Chevy Silverado of Johnny Sauter back to the bottom of the racetrack, Krista.
Rick, you guys were talking about Sauter having to go back and forth from the front to the back. He's also having to go side to side. His truck has been running a little bit hot. About 8 laps ago, he had to peek outside to the outside line just to cool the truck down. He said he thinks he'll be fine as long as he can continue to just kind of keep poking in and out to try to cool his truck down.
We saw Mario Goslin in that number 12 move up the racetrack. That meant that Ron Hornaday, who was out there, had to move even further up, and so he's hung out on the outside. Now he'll try to tack onto one of these lines and see if he can stay with the pack.
Man, Ron's just not having a good day. He just hasn't been able to get anything going to get up toward the front. Made a couple of good runs, but it's falling apart.
And these guys right now are running over 192 average around here. Remember, the pole was less than 180.
Now you wonder if Rick Wren's formulating a plan, Phil, to get that cow flat back on that truck. He just doesn't have the speed, it doesn't appear right now, to go up there and contend. I don't believe in the draft that truck even knows there isn't a cow flap on there. I think the air goes over the truck. I really don't think that's important, but you got to start scratching your head if you're that team and thinking, what do we have to do to get Ron up toward the front? Or does he want to go up toward the front? Is he happy right now?
Is he laying back right now, knowing that we have 34 laps to go? There's going to be another pit stop. He may just be content to lay back right now.
We're within one final pit stop. All these trucks can make it to the finish. I'm going to guess gas only on this last pit stop, and they're all going to be all are going to be ready to fight to the finish. Hornaday's running at the tail end of that lead pack with a 200 and some point lead. That's refreshing as a race driver, isn't it?
And remember, his closest pursuer, Matt Crafton, is actually running behind him because he's on the tail end of the lead lap, leading this pack around here.
Yeah, Matt Crafton in that tied number 88, his Chevy Silverado in front of the pack, but he's actually a lap down, or at least almost a lap down. We see some sheet metal problems with Mike Wallace's truck just behind that left fender.
That's something that NASCAR will look at. I'm sure NASCAR is going to bring that truck in because that looks like that could fly off that truck.
Potential black flag coming up for Mike Wallace in the 48.
And another reason is obviously if that comes off, it may not cause anybody problems, but it will be debris on the racetrack.
And that just goes to show you.
The hood's about to come off as well of the 48. So I'm guessing we'll see Mike Wallace checking up now.
Ron Hornaday is hung in behind him.
The sun coming out, the black flag for the 48 also coming out.
That truck's falling apart. It had all it could take. First of all, the left front fender fell off, and then the hood blew off of it.
Sun coming out here on Halloween in Talladega, Alabama. In front of the field, it's still the 15 of Eric Almirola. He is the truck one behind Matt Crafton, who's at the tail end of the lead lap. And where is Kyle Busch? Well, he's running third. Adam Alexander.
Not a surprise after those early issues that Rowdy has been able to put his truck at the front as we close on the end of this race. And he's been complaining a bit on the radio about how some other guys are driving. He feels like a few people on track are getting away with bump drafting. He said if they're going to do it, they need to be penalized or they need to let me do it too. We'll continue to watch Rowdy as he ducks in and out of the draft right now, trying to push to the outside of the 16, but that's not going to happen, Ray.
And pinned right behind Rowdy Busch is at number 5, PC Myler Toyota of Mike Skinner, and his engine temperature going up gradually. Mike said he's worried that he may have a piece of debris on there, so he's been running up right on the back bumper of the 51 to try to get it loose, but water temperature continuing to climb for Skinner.
How about that run that Terry Cook has on the outside? He and Tom Bodine, that propels Terry to the lead.
Terry Cook was scored as your race leader the last time by the start-finish line. And again, right now, Eric Almirola in the 15 is in front of Terry Cook. Those two are battling for the lead. It's Matt Crafton that's at the tail end of the lead lap. And now they start to shuffle for position down the backstretch.
Eric Almirola got a shove in the back from Brian Scott, almost turned him sideways.
Right to stay in line. Amazingly enough, the sun out here at Talladega. Terry Cook in front of the 88 of Matt. Problems. Colin Brown gets sideways into the infield. It looks like Taylor Malsom's going to make contact with the inside wall.
That's that bump drafting gone awry there, I have to believe.
No doubt.
Unfortunately, Taylor's going to be the one that's going to really pay the price.
Put tires on.
Colin Brown, I don't think, got any damage out of that. Just got turned around sideways. Did you see Matt Crafton driving the heck out of that truck down there in the middle of the turn?
His hands were going all over the place.
There you see the 6 on pit road. Going to do 4 tires. We just heard
4,600.
You can see the left rear corner there, Rick, of his bed of his truck looks like it's bent up. Left rear fender. It's got some damage.
Window net down, and we're seeing Taylor Malsom climbing out of that truck. That's a good sign. Here comes the 6 for work on that truck. Adam.
And Mike Beam always does a good job. He is the crew chief for Colin Brown. He said, let's put tires on it. We'll get a good look at the damage, and then we'll come back and repair that left rear quarter panel. As you can see, it's pulled out, and he just asked the spotter, where's the pace truck? He wants to know exactly how much time they have to work on it before they need to send Colin on his way so he does not lose a lap. Aerodynamically sensitive are these trucks everywhere, but in particular here at Talladega, this incident may very well have taken Colin out of an opportunity to get the victory from the pole.
Let's take another look. Goodyear giving us a shot here of what just took place. A big hit from the 6 on the 5, and then he checked up, and right behind him was Chad McCumbee.
And then Ricky Carmichael gets in the back of Taylor Malsom. Nothing Ricky can do at that point. You can't see through these trucks. Ricky had no idea what all was going on in front of him, and got in the back of Taylor.
Just a chain reaction deal. You see the pack seize up.
See everything happening up there. Ricky Carmichael has no idea all this is going on.
Again, contact made between the 6 and the 07. Chad McCumbee may have some front end damage, at least cosmetic damage to the front of that truck as he got into the back of the 6.
Pit road is not open yet. This will be, we're in the window now. This will be the last round of pit stops for all these guys.
See the 6 making his way around the racetrack once again. It was the 6 and the 81 that got sideways, both of them going to the infield.
Yeah, they really want to get that quarter panel fixed now. As sensitive as these trucks are aerodynamically, you don't want that parachute out there behind that left rear tire.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to Matt Crafton. Again, the leaders were able to get by Matt, and so that put him a lap down. Now Aaron's is going to give him that lap back, so he'll be on the lead lap once again. See the drivers preparing for potentially their final trip onto pit road.
Matt Crafton found himself a lap down after a flat tire. Now he thinks he can win the race. Set up there and led the thing. Was at the front of the field for a long time. He certainly knows now he has a truck he can win with. He'll have to do it from the back here with just less than 30 to go.
Now fuel being put into the 6. This will be their final stop. They're working on the left rear as far as the sheet metal, trying to get that as close as they can to
They
good.
need to just get it tucked back in behind that left rear tire so it doesn't act like a parachute. They're going to put a lot of the X-Flex on there.
And they're putting it on, it looks like the deck lid. Is that to hold it down just in case?
Just piecing it all together, making sure he has all the aerodynamic good that he can get out of it.
Here comes the rest of the field behind him. Let's go down to Chris Devoda.
Plan for the 16 was 4 tires, but about 30 seconds ago, crew chief Jeff Hensley said to his driver Brian Scott, we're going to get two lefts. The hell with it. Ray?
Just the opposite plan for Terry Cook. Danny Rollins wanted right sides only, but Terry said under slow speeds he had a real bad vibration, so they're going to go with 4 tires on this pit stop. They'll come back around soon for fuel. Adam?
Top of your screen, the leader is Todd Bodine. He too is going to get fuel only. They are good to go the distance. They told him clean the grill, and when you pull away, get a tear off the windshield. The race off pit road sees Brian Scott, Todd Bodine, and David Starr. 1, 2, 3.
Mike Skinner, Kyle Busch.
I think I like fuel only right here, Phil.
I do too. And we know that Brian Scott's going to come back in.
Got
Watch
contact.
Terry Cook.
There's contact. I saw his truck smoking. Or no, it's smoking anyway.
Yeah, we see smoke coming out of the 25 just when he was coming off of pit road.
A lot of smoke. That's not just moisture on pit road.
He'll have to come back to the pits and figure that one out.
The team will probably go back under the hood of that truck. We'll find out what's happening. The guys on pit road will take care of giving you that story when we come back to Talladega. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy.
You know, Rick, as the sun sets in the west, action's going to pick up here at Talladega. Every lap that goes by, every time they come around this track, it gets a little bit more and a little bit more intense.
Well, now NASCAR On Speed is always on, like everybody on the racetrack, with NASCAR On Speed broadband, a free super site for the hardcore fan. Get the best of NASCAR On Speed, plus exclusive videos you can't get anywhere else. Log on now to the video section of speedtv.com or NASCAR.com. How about the sun breaking through? Just a partly cloudy sky over Talladega Superspeedway. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, just to update the 25, Terry Cook said when he comes back into the pit area under deceleration, he gets a really bad vibration. He thinks it might be the rear end gear going bad on that Cajun Industries truck. They took a look at it, checked it up, and they couldn't see any fluid or any problems there. So Danny says you got what you got. Kristen?
Ray, for the 16 on Halloween, it is definitely a trick, not a treat. Brian Scott has just been told he's been caught speeding. He will go to the tail end of the longest line.
Difficult situation there for Brian Scott, so he'll have to serve his penalty. Again, we talked earlier about the Copart Challenge of Champions between Hornaday and Bodine. As they're running on the racetrack, Hornaday still with a 61-point lead over Todd Bodine. Hornaday looking pretty good right now as far as winning that Copart Challenge of Champions. Again, Ron Hornaday's favorite charity, Victory Junction Gang Camp. $5,000 goes to the charity of whichever driver comes out the winner, courtesy of Copart.
I won some money for the camp the other day on Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. Did you see it?
You know what? I missed that show. You were supposed to call me when it was coming on.
I was able to donate $30,000 to the Victory Junction Gang Camp. That's a lot of kids that get to go to Colin Patty's camp.
American Cancer Society is the charity that Todd Bodine is racing for.
You can see the red helmet. I mean, the pink helmet. I'm sorry, that Todd's going to, I think, auction off, try to raise a little more money.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, and Todd Bodine helping out that cause. Ray Dunlap.
Great move for Ron Hornaday. Remember, guys, he was clear in the back, and with just a lap or two to go before that caution came out, he made a really good run up through the pack. They came into the pits in 14th, and a great job by the pit crew. They got him out. He'll restart 9th here in that Copart Chevrolet.
You know, if you looked at things right now, it seems like the world's all going to stay the same. Todd Bodine's looking like he's in pretty good shape.
Ron hasn't led yet.
to win his 5th one here, and Ron still ain't led.
And you said both of those could not happen, you said.
No, and I was probably wrong.
25 laps, actually 24 when they get to the stripe.
And you just got to watch these next 24 laps. This is going to be the best. This is going to be what NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing is all about. These guys are going to turn up the volume.
24 trucks on the lead lap right now.
Led by Todd Bodine in that Copart Toyota Tundra. Just behind him, David Starr, Mike Skinner, Kyle Busch, and Eric Almirola. They're your top 5. Green in the air.
Great start by Todd. Did not get too far out in front of David Starr. No huge gap. Look at Mike Skinner and Kyle Busch. They may be getting ready for a run. Maybe they're going to pull to the outside.
It's Johnny Sauter. He's back from the group, but in front of a line. We'll see if that line will be able to catch back up. Somebody looking to the outside, just at the tail end. That's Eric Almirola. We talked about how strong of a race truck he has had all day long. Eric Almirola, one of the trucks that has been up front. He's led 15 laps. Colin Brown's led 26 laps. Skinner's led 9.
And don't forget about Matt Crafton, who was in front of this pack. He wasn't your leader. He was on the tail end of the lead lap. But
problems! Mario Gosselin turns around. Can he keep it down low? Try to stay out of the line of traffic. He does an excellent job. Stays to the bottom of the racetrack until they cross the start-finish line. The field goes by. The MyTireMonkey.com truck now headed the right direction once again, and the caution comes out for the 5th time.
Didn't get warmed up good from this last restart. Murray did a great job keeping that truck from sliding back across the racetrack in front of the pack. Mario was running up in the top 10, and he got turned around.
He's been consistently running in the top pack. Mario Gosselin has had a great race. His first race with MyTireMonkey.com. Take a look. Right behind him, that's Max Pappas.
Max is like right there. He's appearing to look like a dart with no feathers. He was just buffeting all over the place, and with him not having his truck straight and then trying to bump draft on top of that, it just was disaster for Mario Gosselin. Fortunately, like you guys said, Mario was good enough to keep that thing from returning back up in the middle of traffic. Great job by Mario.
But watch that 9 truck. He was on the inside, on the outside, back and forth, and then unfortunately Mario was the one that paid the price.
You got to make sure you're going straight when you bump draft a guy, and even so then, Rick, you don't want to be bump drafting in the tri-oval because you're not going straight. Watch all the moves made here by Max. Outside, inside. Oh, I'm going to hit you. And now he continues to do the same thing. Got Mario weaving around and spun him out.
So around goes Mario Gosselin. The Aaron's Lucky Dog is going to go once again to the 0-2 of Steve Park. This is real time. This is the way it happens. Take a look at that 9 truck.
You can look at Mario steering there, trying to keep that truck straight.
Listen, he was hard on the gas too, wasn't he? He knew he didn't want to go back up in the middle of all that traffic.
Steering the entire time, though. Great job by Mario.
That tire monkey probably helped him.
I bet he had a wild ride. He's going to need to get some more tire monkeys for that truck.
He needed a whole bed full of tire monkeys to keep that thing going straight. No harm, no foul. There's your Aaron's Lucky Dog. Steve Park gets his 2nd one of the day. Maybe Steve can hang in that lead pack now that he's got a new lease on life here.
So the 0-2 of Steve Park will make his way by the pack. He'll get a lap back. Well, the fans are getting exactly what they wanted from Talladega, side-by-side racing. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. They're working on the set at the speed stage. It is a special Halloween edition.
That was Jeff Hammond, wasn't it?
I don't think Jeff Hammond's ever been that. Well, I can't say that bad. Oh, my goodness.
Did something
it's going to be a lot of fun. Fans are going to want to hang out with the guys at the speed stage. That's NASCAR Trackside. Coming up next, the special Halloween edition. Just outside of Turn 4 here at Talladega Superspeedway. Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, remember earlier I was telling you about the difference between the 5 and the 51? Well, he just said, tell Kyle if you're ready to push me. That's the Skinner I'm talking about. I'll be ready to go with you. You give me a signal of some kind when you're ready to go to the outside. We'll go up here. We'll pass that 30, and we'll go to the lead. All that message has been conveyed from the spotters. We'll keep our eye on the 5 and the 51 together. Now let's go back down to the other end with Double A.
And those 2 trucks just in front of Busch and Skinner would be the leader, Todd Bodine. You see comfortably inside his Copart Toyota. And right behind him, David Starr. The 24 bunch said they would draft with Todd on the restart. Todd Bodine, though, On that last run mentioned, he had a little bit of a vibration, so we will keep our eye on driver number 30. Remember, after they put tires on the last time, he spun it leaving pit road, perhaps a factor as we enter the late stages of this race.
And Todd Bodine, when he came onto pit road, he was actually running third, and then with the miscue on pit road, he dropped way back in the field, but it hasn't affected Todd Bodine because he's been able to figure out how to get back up front.
He's been really one of the stronger trucks on that upper lane, Phil. Every time he goes to the high side, whether he's pushing or leading, he's able to get those trucks to the front. We saw Colin Brown really strong down on the bottom, but when he got replaced from the lead on the bottom, hadn't heard a whole lot out of him since then. The 15 truck of Eric Almirola also, as these laps wind down, he seems to be positioned right there behind his teammate Kyle Busch. He seems to be one of the fastest trucks on the track. And behind him, behind Almirola, Johnny Sauter, he's been all over the place.
He's been on the inside sideways. Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, Jamie Jones just came down here to talk with Rick Wren. Here comes some more strategy. We see the 10 and the 33 very close to each other on the racetrack. So these guys formulating some sort of a plan for the future here. Maybe the 10 said that he does not like the high side. I got to do it on the bottom. If the 33 is going to go with me, that's where we'll do it.
There's a whole lot of politicking. You know, another thing, during the course of a race, you want to prove to people you got a fast truck. You know, the other drivers have decided, Kyle Busch is good, we knew that. Eric Almirola is really good, I like him. Todd Bodine's good. Johnny Sauter can go places. And you formulate your strategy and you make your plan based on what you've seen all day long.
Here comes the restart once again. 19 laps of racing remain. Todd Bodine in front of the field.
Todd gets a perfect start. You can see all those trucks tied tightly together, dive for the bottom of the racetrack, and they hope they can just ride there for a little while.
And remember, James Butcher said, I'll go with you on Hornaday, but it's going to have to be on the bottom. I think the bottom's going to be full of people. They're going to have to make a move on the top side.
You can either stay on the bottom or you can go to the high side, but you can't go to the bottom. The bottom's going to be full. You're exactly right. You know, these guys just want to spend about 10 minutes. That's all they're looking for, riding along on the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to log enough laps to where they'll be down inside about 10 to go, and the action's going to pick up. But could you imagine that? In the whole scheme of things, they just want 10 calm minutes right now. If they can just please have those, it'll set them up for a great finish.
How about 10 calm seconds? I don't know if we've seen that this entire race.
Well, what I said is not possible. You're not going to get 10 calm minutes. But boy,
you'd like to have them.
It'd be nice to have right now. 10 minutes is all I want.
The line once again forming on the bottom of the racetrack. There's David Starr just behind race leader Todd Bodine in that Copart number 30 Toyota Tundra. We have 5 Toyotas lined up at the front of the field. Bodine, Starr, Skinner, Busch, and Almirola.
Look at the long line of single file trucks, and then you have a little bit of a gap back to 10 trucks running side by side.
Great shot from the Goodyear blimp. As you see that group up in front running nose to tail on the bottom of the racetrack.
They want to try to get single file if they can to be able to catch that front group. Now it looks like that outside group is going to be able to move out in front, and it won't be just a matter of moment. Ooh, unfortunate. Steve Park just got the Aaron's lucky dog, and looks like he may have lost an engine.
So he brings the 0-2 off of the racetrack down onto the apron. He'll try to make it all the way back around. How about Rick Crawford trying to move by that 88 of Matt Crafton on the outside? We see Timothy Peters on the outside of Ricky Carmichael.
And Crafton, you know, he got an Aaron's lucky dog a couple of cautions ago. He's trying to rally from the back of the field.
Caution coming out. It could be because of the 0-2 of Steve Park.
Okay, this is going to be part of those 10 minutes I was looking for.
Good, at least 6-8 minutes, 9 minutes.
They're going to get some nice, calm minutes right here. And they're able to also think about what's going to happen, what lies ahead, how they're going to go win this race. These cautions at this point in the race, especially if you have the type of track position that Todd Bodine, David Starr, and those guys have, this is good stuff right here. You can think about what your plan is, and you can just get some laps down calmly.
How about the Aaron's lucky dog, Michael?
Norm Benning, right?
Norm Benning gets the Aaron's lucky dog.
He's fought a good fight, stayed in contention, got a lap down, but now he's going to get that back. We know he spent a little bit of extra money this week so he could try to run with these boys, and Aaron's is going to give him a lap back.
Well, next Saturday, the World of Outlaw sprint cars and late models in the season with a bang. It's the greatest show on dirt. Don't miss the World of Outlaws World Finals next Saturday, 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Would have been mud if they would have run today as the rains came early on, but after the clouds have opened up a little bit here and allowed some sun onto the racetrack. It's turned into a fairly nice fall day in Talladega, Alabama, as we wind down the laps. Just 16 remain here for the Camping World Truck Series. Just the 4th visit for this series to Talladega on a Halloween evening. Let's go back trackside to Adam Alexander.
A minute ago, Michael Waltrip was talking about the caution being a good thing so everyone can paint their picture of a plan over these last handful of laps, and that might be good for Billy Blue Motorsports, making their 300th start in the series today. Driver Eric Almirola in the 15, running in the 5th spot behind his teammate Kyle Busch. You would think teammates together is a good thing. The only problem is Eric, under that last caution, said, how is this supposed to work? Am I supposed to read his mind? We need to figure out what this teamwork thing is all about. I would guess they will work together. I'm just not sure either knows at this stage exactly how that's going to happen.
Well, and Eric Almirola, one of the drivers that has not been to victory lane in the Camping World Truck Series, and maybe he could add his name to the list. There's some more politicking taking place, it looks like, between the 10 team and the 33 team.
And they're still running together right now. Ron Hornaday being shown in 8th and James Busher being shown in 9th.
And Ron Hornaday racing for the Victory Junction Gang Camp as part of the Copart Challenge of Champions. $5,000 could be donated to his favorite charity. We've talked about the 13 of Johnny Sauter moving all over the racetrack. Chris Devoto, what are they talking about for these final laps?
Well, what they're talking about is trying to find a dance partner. Johnny Sauter was getting pushes from Mario Gosselin, so when he left the track, Johnny was left without a drafting partner, trying to hook up with his teammate Matt Crafton, currently running 13th. Johnny is 6th. Johnny and his team very aware that right now Sauter is surrounded by Toyotas. Sauter and Crafton are Chevrolets.
Another great shot of the speed stage area. We want to thank our aerial coverage being provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy.
What a great picture. What great pictures we've had from the blimp today, huh? The trucks on the track, all the excitement of a NASCAR weekend here at Talladega, the fun at the speed stage, Hammond's Grave.
Should be a fun evening. If you're in the Talladega area, why don't you come over and join us?
We saw some crime fighters today, too, and some villains.
We were very, I guess, thankful to be a part of a lot of fun during the setup.
I really look forward to the opportunity speed gives us to be goofballs.
We want to take a look at how we are doing with, again, just 15 laps of racing to go. Todd Bodine looking to make it 5 in a row at super speedways. He's out in front. David Starr running second. Mike Skinner, Kyle Busch, and Eric Almirola are your top 5.
Phil, I wonder if Todd needs a little bit of water temperature in that truck. We see him on the right up behind the pace truck. He might not have quite enough tape on it. He doesn't want that engine oil temperature to drop down. It might be a possibility he's either bored and is trying to keep himself entertained by following right behind the pace truck, or he's right on it trying to keep his water and oil temperature up a little bit so that he's ready to go racing when they throw the green.
Yeah, he may very well have that, and certainly he knows he's not going to come to pit road to put any tape on it for sure.
Looking at the final laps from Talladega Super Speedway, the Mountain Dew 250 presented on speed by Yamaha. Started out fairly tame, and then side by side, a little bump drafting between the trucks, and now the final laps. Stick with us. NASCAR officials have just given the field 1 to go for the Mountain Dew 250 presented on speed by Yamaha. It's turned out to be a pretty nice afternoon in Talladega, Alabama, as the sun is setting. Michael, you gave me that nice cue.
Let me see if we can make contact with David Starr. Hey, David Starr, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Have a great run going, man. That Toyota, that Zachary Toyota up there. You're right behind the guy that's won 4 of these in a row here at Daytona. You got a plan?
Well, a little cat and mouse game going on. I'm sure I'm going to be played. I got a good friend of mine and a tough competitor, Mike Skinner, behind us, and I don't really have a plan. Just going to try to do the best I can to get the Zachary Toyota Tundra in victory lane.
All right, buddy. Great run so far. Finish it off.
Good talking to you.
You know, I love that. I don't have a plan. You don't need a plan. You need to be fluid. You got to make decisions based on reality, what's happening at the moment. Adam, what's happening with you at the moment?
Mike Hillman Jr. is the crew chief for Todd Bodine, the driver right in front of David Starr. David just told us on his radio he doesn't really have a plan. So what about you guys with just over 10 to go and leading?
We don't have much of a plan sitting up here on the box. Todd's been here the last 4 times. We've been out front coming to the win in our Copart Tundra, so hopefully we can do the same thing again. I just want to thank all these guys for all the hard work they put into it, everybody back at the shop. The guys at TRT, John Dysinger and all those guys do a heck of a job with our motors, and I'm just proud of everybody at Germain Racing.
Of those guys behind you, who are you most concerned about?
All of them. You never know. Anybody can win this thing, all the way back to the 15, so we'll just have to see how it shakes out.
He's won 4 in a row. He tried to give him a chance by spinning out on pit road, but Todd Bodine out front when it matters once again. We'll see if he can hold him off.
There are 23 trucks on the lead lap right now.
I think he's got to look back beyond the top 5 for people that are contenders in this race.
They got those 10 minutes I was speaking of. Now the next 10 are going to be something. This is the 10. They've put them. Todd Bodine, David Starr, Skinner, Busch. These guys have put themselves in a position to win this race with about 10 minutes to go. That's
12 laps of racing to go. Todd Bodine, a big gap between he and David Starr as they work their way through the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air.
And then he slowed it back down to let David crawl back up to him before he got in the throttle.
David Starr looked low. Todd goes down and hugs that yellow line.
The yellow line is my friend right now.
I have one ally, I believe. I have one thing I can trust right now.
The yellow line?
It's the yellow line.
It's not going anywhere.
No, it's the only thing I trust.
Todd Bodine right in front of David Starr. Looks like Starr starts to buff it around just behind that 30.
Now, if I'm back where Max Pappas is, Hornaday, those trucks, Crawford, Buscher, I'm going to have to make a move. I'm going to make something happen right now because I can't ride back there. I won't ever get to the front. We've seen it take 8 or 10 laps sometimes for that outside line to form up and get up to the front. So if I get a chance, I'm Johnny Sauter, I'm jumping, I'm going.
If that line on the outside that's forming up now ever gets any momentum, then one of these guys back here can jump out in front of him and really get propelled forward.
But Phil, as every lap clicks off, the bump drafting gets a little bit more serious. The bumps into other trucks are harder, and sometimes that'll spin a guy out. We know that's what lies ahead.
Todd Bodine continues to prove how good of a super speedway race car driver he is. He's never finished outside the top 5. His worst finish at a super speedway was back in 2007 at Daytona, which was 5th.
Yeah, he's a great driver, great equipment too. Remember, this is the same truck that won the last 4 of these races, 2 here and 2 at Daytona.
David Starr doesn't have a plan, but as the laps begin to wind down, as we go to 10 laps remaining, he's going to have to start formulating one very quick.
Now we're less than 10 minutes away from the end of this thing.
I know, and my heart is about to jump out on the floor. I can't believe it. It's just all right up ahead, and I know it. Look at, is that Timothy Peters and Crafton starting to get some trucks together there with Colin? Is that Colin Brown?
Colin Brown, yep.
And as soon as that line starts to run, someone's going to jump out of this inside line and think, I can lead that outside line. Adam Alexander.
Jimmy Kitchens is the spotter for Todd Bodine. Todd told me earlier today, I think he's the best in the business. Kitchens just said this to Bodine. I don't think that 24, referring to David Starr, who's right behind him on track, is going to go with you. I think he's going to do what the guys behind him want to do. Just make sure you pay attention. So many things to think about on the stretch run at a speedway track.
9 to go.
Todd Bodine has led 20 laps. There have been 9 different trucks out in front. Colin Brown has led the most laps at 26.
We've got a good line on the outside. Matt Crafton, we know how strong he was. When he was a lap down, he was able to lead the pack around. Colin Brown's been strong. Got a little bit of quarter panel damage. He's lined up behind Matt Crafton.
I believe Matt can get those guys there.
See that outside line begin to move. Ron Hornaday has not led a lap at Talladega. And unless he gets something going quickly, he will continue to not have led a lap at Talladega.
That outside line's making a little bit of progress right now. They've gained a couple trucks in the last lap. If Matt can pull up beside us.
Is Johnny going to go?
Johnny Sauter looks like he's going to jump in front of his teammate, as well as Kyle Busch peeks to the outside. Will he go out and try to get in front of Johnny Sauter?
Now business is going to pick up here.
Johnny made a great move. That's exactly what I think he should have done. He had to get up there with those guys. He cut right in front of Crafton. Crafton had no choice but to push Johnny. and they're making a little bit more progress toward the front. Here they come.
Oh, moving up the racetrack was the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Look
Kyle
at the run,
Busch
it gets him
almost
on
got
the outside.
Here comes Johnny Sauter. Now Kyle Busch has to decide. Does he stay with his teammate on the inside, or does he jump out front in front of that outside line?
They sort of held off that charge right there. They got a good run through 3 and 4. That inside line did. Johnny was all the way up to Kyle Busch, and now he's dropped back 2 or 3 trucks.
We've seen Eric Almirola be extremely strong. There
they
goes
go.
Kyle Busch. Here comes Eric Almirola with him. They move to the outside. Will the outside line move? 7 laps of racing to go.
Almirola's got a fast truck. I like the position Kyle Busch and Almirola are in right now.
And Eric knows how to do it. He knows how to push that 51 truck.
He just has to be calm. He can't get too excited and push too hard. Emotions are running high right now, and you've got to make sure you temper those.
Look at the run on the outside.
The 2 trucks are moving on the outside line. Here comes Johnny Sauter. Here comes Matt Crafton. Right by that 30 of Todd Bodine goes the 51 and the 15. Let's see if they move to the bottom of the racetrack. They do.
That's risky business. Almirola's pushing the heck out of Busch. Plus, he can't do that forever, Phil. His water temperature will skyrocket. He's going to have to fall off of Kyle Busch eventually, and there's the gap.
6
Johnny
to go.
Sauter on the outside now. He's pulled up even with Tom O'Dine in a battle for 3rd.
And he's got his teammate right behind him, and his teammate's in a fast truck. So those 2 have teamed up, just like our teammates that are leading teamed up.
The 2 lines running even now. The outside line was moving. Now it's stalled out. Let's see what happens at the front of the field. Kyle Busch trying to stay in front of his teammate Eric Almirola. Todd Bodine running 3rd. David Starr is 4th. Mike Skinner is 5th. Adam Alexander, is there team rules for that 15?
We've not heard anything as far as that is concerned, Rick, but one thing to keep an eye on when you talk about Eric Almirola, who's running 2nd right now, is when they made their last pit stop under caution and got fuel only, they did not get enough fuel in the truck. The last we heard, they were short, but they've been conserving on all of these caution laps. Something to keep in mind as he's running close to 200 miles an hour in the draft.
Just something else to worry about, if there wasn't enough already.
192, 193 mile an hour. These guys are lapping around here.
And look at how far back now Johnny Sauter is. That 2nd line moved way back and lost the momentum that they had.
They had it going on.
We're under 5 laps of racing to go. Johnny Sauter has dropped back. Will they get another push? And how about that 15 of Eric Almirola? Will he make the move? Let's see if the 5 of Mike Skinner goes with him, as well as the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Well, and you know, right now, Rick, Almirola needs to be trying to figure out how to win this race. He can't just be pushed up underneath Kyle Busch all the way to the white flag. He's got to fall back off of Kyle Busch, get a gap between those 2 trucks, see what happens when Todd Bodine pulls right up to his bumper, what kind of run he can get on Kyle Busch. He needs to be doing some serious thinking right now.
Mike Skinner moved to the outside to get in front of that outside line. Now the 30 of Todd Bodine moves up there as well, Adam.
You got and Todd Bodine last laps, and let me know when there are 2 laps to go. That's obviously not the case right now. Still 4 remaining, but Bodine trying to make his move to the outside, and we have trouble on the back straightaway.
Problems for the 14 and the 5. Now they all bottle up behind them. The 16's into the wall. Hornaday, your championship leader, is into the wall. A lot of damage on the back stretch. Oh, and Max Pappas gets into the 5 of Mike Skinner as they're slowing down the back stretch.
Wow.
Johnny Sauter was trying to get back in line in the middle. There was some contact made.
What happened off turn 2 was Bodine got a bump draft off of turn 2 that shot him wide off the turn. And then when he tried to get everything, that bunched them all up. And then everybody started scrambling for positions after that.
A lot of damage to that Geico Toyota, as well as the Copart Chevrolet of our point leader, Ron Hornaday.
Guys, I would expect they're going to have to red flag this, because we're so close to the end of this race, and there's a lot of debris that's going to have to be cleaned up. They want to finish under a green flag condition.
Yeah, Eric Almirola is hoping they red flag it because he's got some gas fuel issues he's concerned with. Look at the way this truck's bent.
Yeah, the Mobile, Alabama native of Rick Crawford with a lot of damage to that truck. We see Ricky Carmichael on pit road. They're doing a tire change for him.
That crash started with, I think, a bad bump draft into the back of Todd Bodine off 2.
Timothy Peters in the 17. That's strutmaster.com. Toyota Tundra on pit road. Ray Dunlap, what about our point leader?
Well, they know that the right front is not moving on that Copart Chevrolet, but they think that it may be just body damage that's holding that wheel. So they've got to get that cleared out and find out whether or not there's damage to the actual suspension or whether it's just the body on the wheel. They're going to try to figure that out and see if Hornaday can continue. Lots and lots of damage for Mike Skinner. I think his day is going to be over, guys.
Yeah, Mike already had some damage, and then Max Pappas came along and really drilled the 5 truck to further damage. You see Max moving around in the truck right there when the net's down.
A lot of work being done to Skinner's truck, but it might not be enough, at least enough time. Mike Skinner coming in 3rd in the point standings behind Matt Crafton. What's going on with the 33 team, Ray?
Well, they just Danny Stockman, the truck chief, just came on and said the right front suspension is absolutely junk. He said the spindle won't turn at all, so it appears the Copart Chevrolet will be done. They may go behind the wall to try to work on it, but it appears that it's not going to roll at all, and by the time they could get that replaced, this race will be over.
There are 24 trucks that were running on the racetrack. Now, Ron Hornaday is on pit road, and that truck is bad. We've got a problem for Hornaday. Could this be the situation that Matt Crafton has been looking for? Obviously, bad news for Hornaday, good news for Crafton.
Well, Matt Crafton knew that Ron Hornaday was going to have to have some sort of trouble to get back in contention. Right now, Ron Hornaday probably will fall back to about the 24th position, something like that, and that's going to allow Matt Crafton to gain points. But I tell you, with 3 races to go after here, that's still a pretty big hill to climb.
Max Crafton.
Darn, it's knocked a good chunk out of it. Now it's reasonable to think maybe you could catch him.
This is our problem.
Watch right of your screen. Johnny Sauter in the 13 gets into the quarter panel of Mike Skinner.
Look at Crafton slide by barely on the outside. Colin Brown barely through the hole.
Ooh, look at Rick Crawford's rear end lift up off the ground.
Ricky Carmichael takes a spin. A little bit of damage on that truck.
Timothy Peters involved.
Timothy Peters, our winner from last week, crashed this week.
So look at him coming straight at you down the backstretch.
It looked like the 30 of Top Bodine and Skinner washed up to the high side, and they wanted to get back over there to the inside. And when Skinner went to the inside, what?
Max Pappas just running into the side of that 5 truck.
There's another, you can see right there, Johnny Sauter got bumped around. Then he got into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike got into the 14 of Rick Crawford. Chad McCumbee comes along, he's involved. Brian Scott, there's the 16 truck, the 33 of Hornaday. Looks like James Busher, very little damage. And then here comes Max along. Here's real time.
Most of these crashes happen on the straightaway, it seems, Phil.
And it's amazing. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it does.
People scrambling to try to get back in line. It looked like Skinner was trying to get over toward that bottom line. And Sauter was determined to stay in that hole.
Ron Hornaday's Copart Chevrolet right there, along with him.
In Johnny Sauter's defense, we're talking 2 or 3 laps to go. He backs off the gas right there. You know, obviously, watch.
See Skinner, he's on the outside. He was trying to pull back over in line behind Todd, and Johnny had tried to close that hole up, tried to take that hole from him.
Take another look. This is real time.
That's just, I mean, it's really difficult to assess exactly who to blame that on. I mean, Skinner was trying to pull over a little bit. Johnny was in there a little bit. They got together and it caused a big crash. Hey, his wheel's turning. It wasn't earlier. That's good. That's a good sign.
33 looks like he'll be coming back out onto the racetrack again. The final 5 laps winding down as they're working on that 13. Let's go trackside to Adam Alexander.
And one of the good parts of this accident, everyone appears to be okay. One of those, Rick Crawford, you were able to drive your truck back around. We've seen a number of replays. What did you see?
Well, it was just rolling. I didn't see anything, Adam. I was in line on the bottom as far down as the yellow line that I could go. I finally found out what the big one is in Talladega and not cause it. So it must have happened beside me or something. And I seen him get squirrely, but I was as low as I could go, and there wasn't much to it. Durastar International Trucking Engine, Ford F-150 to the 5. 5 got into the right rear corner there, turned me to the right. So that's the way it goes, but there was some good hard racing out there. I know the fans was entertained today on speed, and I'm just glad to be part of it.
I'm glad you're okay, Rick.
That was
Appreciate everything. Thank you.
That was a great view because Todd Bodine got a bump from Mike Skinner. It turned him sideways. That moved them up the racetrack.
And it also slowed all their momentum. The bad bump draft off turn 2 started that, and it didn't material. The wreck didn't materialize until they got on down the straightaway a little bit. It caused them their momentum, and then they all tried to get back over to the inside, and there just was too many trucks.
And Johnny tried to take up that hole in the middle of the racetrack that they left when they slid up the racetrack. And then Mike Skinner tried to get back in line behind Todd, and that's where the initial contact came that caused this accident.
You see a couple of the trucks, Chad McCumbee and Max Pappas's trucks being pulled back by behind the wall into the infield. There's the 5 of Mike Skinner, that PC Myler Navigator on pit road.
Bobby, got to get it up. Come on.
Hear the radio communication as they're working on that truck. And really, obviously, there's no chance that this truck is going to win, but they want to get it back out there in contention at least for laps to finish because they're third in the points, and it could be a big point day for them.
Yeah, and that's what they do. That's what all these guys are going to do. They're going to try to get these things fixed, get back out there, get the best finish they can. Let's take another look at from the blimp. Watch this bump right now coming from the 5 to the 30. Remember, they're right tucked down.
Watch the 30 go to the right.
Yeah.
Right
he gets
there.
sideways now, and Skinner follows him. Johnny's going to try to take that hole up in the middle. Skinner's just trying to get back in line behind the 30, and that's where the initial contact came.
And around they go. Numerous trucks involved in this one. You can see 8 of them right there. And Max Pappas in the 5. You see him. I'm not so sure what happens here. Max Pappas
looks
looked like
Max
he was under control.
Looks like he got back in the throttle to try to get back around here. There's another view. You see Johnny wiggling. Then he hits the 5 truck. That turns the 5 into the 14 of Rick Crawford. A couple guys do a nice job. Watch that white truck right behind Johnny Sauter, Stacy Compton, and the 25 of Terry Cook, who do a great job getting through this accident without any contact.
Yeah, Colin Brown also a spectacular job in the 6 truck making it by.
You can see that started it right there. And then it doesn't happen until seconds later.
Well, Colin Brown, you're right. He did a nice job avoiding an incident. He moved even higher. He was already up against the wall.
There's Rick Crawford. Here's what he felt. Listen in.
And just think about Rick Crawford, guys. Wide open, going straight down the straightaway.
Against the yellow line.
Minding his own business. All of a sudden, he's almost upside down.
A wild ride for Crawford.
Watch this look right here. Here comes the bump. That's the bump that's going to turn Todd sideways. He moves up, Skinner moves up, then Skinner tries to move back down, and Johnny has already stuck his nose in there. They make the contact.
And watch Max. He's spinning at the beginning of the wreck, and it looked like he's going to get lucky and get through it.
See Skinner riding along backwards on the racetrack. Here comes Max.
And right into the left rear of that 5 of Mike Skinner.
Look at those. Look at the black marks.
Yeah, the safety crew's working on, the track officials working on cleaning up this mess that was on the backstretch. You mentioned all the tire marks on that backstretch where guys were going different directions. The 33 back out on the racetrack, right?
A good bit of damage there, Rick, but Ron Hornaday saying it's rolling okay. Now, when Danny Stockman, the truck chief, got under there, he said the right front sway bar arm was completely worn off. So Rick Wren is cautioning Ron Hornaday that it may be steering okay and running all right now, but if we go back to green here, be very, very careful. Don't get yourself hurt. They're thinking it's okay to roll right now, but Hornaday has no idea what this truck will do once they get back up to speed.
It was 224 points, the point difference between Hornaday and Crafton when they started this race. As they're running on the racetrack now, it's 178 points that separate them. One of the drivers that was involved in this most recent incident, already out of his truck and out of the infield care center, Chad McCumbie's with Chris Devoda.
That's right, Rick. Chad McCumbie out of the care center. Chad, so frustrating when you get that close to the finish of a race, especially here at a restrictor plate track. What did you see from your vantage point?
Well, coming off of 2, I seen them guys get together and seen Todd start to move around, and I thought we were going to be okay, and then it seemed like it took them a while to wreck, and once they did wreck, I mean, there was just nothing we could do. I hate it that we're getting TV time like this for the T-Wee Chevrolet and SS Greenlight Racing, but got to thank everybody that came on board to help us get through this year, and we've had a real good one, and I think we're think we're in position to get at least a top 10 there. We'd put ourselves, I felt like we needed to be in whatever line the 6 truck was in, and we got together with the 6 over there. Got to apologize to him for that. I seen nothing. The next thing I know, I was beside him. So it was sun gets really bad over there that time of day, and like I said, just hate it for all the folks at TWE and ASI Limited and Spectrum Max Nebo. I was hoping we'd get a good one.
All right, I know it's frustrating. Good news, Chad. Texas, one of your best tracks, is next. Adam?
Kyle Busch leads this field. His teammate right behind him, Eric Almirola. Busch said on the radio, I want us to finish 1-2, but in order for that to happen, Almirola is going to have to push me off of turn 4 to the win. As far as fuel mileage is concerned for Eric, I just talked to his crew chief, Doug George. I said, how close is it? He said, all these caution laps certainly aren't helping me any.
And again, we've already gone past lap 95. This one was scheduled to go only to 94. We can see the moon pretty clearly here on Halloween. Let's go back to the infield and Chris Devoto.
Max Pappas just emerging from the care center. Max, it looked like you were going to get through all that, and then at the last minute, and here it's so close to the end of the race. What happened?
I mean, first of all, I was really excited. You know, the Geico Toyota was running so well. I was really happy for what I was doing. You know, gaining experience, and the guys gave me a really good truck. Unfortunately, looked like that. Basically, I saw Todd getting tangled up sideways, and after I saw a truck hitting me, went sideways, and I had a puncture. And I was trying to gather it back and go into the pit, but I couldn't steer anymore the truck, and I hit the 5. And it's too bad, you know. Like now we hope that maybe Todd can bring one home, you know. But it was a great run for the Geico Toyota. I had a blast, and I learned a lot. Unfortunately, we have a towed-up truck, but I hope we're still, you know, I enjoyed it a lot, and except for the last 30 seconds.
All right, thanks, Max. Mateo's waiting for you.
First green-white checkered ever at Talladega Superspeedway. Kyle Busch just in front of Eric Almirola. Green flag back in the air.
Or if I'm Kyle Busch, I'm awfully glad I've got my teammate behind me. There's a bunch of other trucks that aren't his teammates, though.
Well, Kyle Busch made a decision with about 7-8 laps to go. He hadn't figured out how to win this race yet. He's always been trailing on the last lap. I think he decided he wanted to be leading on the last lap to try to figure out how to win it.
Strategy here, stay on the bottom of the racetrack the whole time? Or do you try to block?
Oh, both. I mean, you're going to go wherever the trucks behind you go. You're going to commit to stay on that bottom line if you're leading, but then here comes somebody you're going to have to block.
Todd Bodine goes up high. Eric Almirola tries to block him. They go through the speedy dry. No problems there. Here comes Bodine to the outside of Kyle Busch for the lead.
Coming down to 1 lap to go.
Come on, still got some help.
A huge run for Todd Bodine. He had help from the 88. Now he moves in front of Kyle Busch. He makes the pass. 1 lap of racing to go when they cross the stripe. Todd Bodine looking to make it 5 in a row on the super speedways.
Anything happens now, it's Todd Bodine's race. The caution flies, he wins.
Matt Crafton still has a bit of a run on the outside. He's even with the 51 of Kyle Busch.
And he has Colin Brown behind him, one of the stronger trucks today. Can that outside line move? Down the backstretch they go.
Look at them all moving around, all the bump drafting going on.
Todd Bodine, Kyle Busch, 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Here comes the 88 of Matt Crafton. A good push from the 6 of Colin Brown. He gets shuffled back. Todd Bodine goes up high. Now they're moving 2 and 3 wide out of turn 4. Todd Bodine hugging that yellow line as they come out of turn 4. Just the triangle to go. 4 wide through the triangle. Here comes Kyle Busch. He goes to the outside as they come to the stripe. Kyle Busch will win at Talladega.
Good job, dude. Good job.
What a move by Kyle Busch and his teammate Eric Almirola.
They figured it out. Kyle figured it out. All he needed was a teammate behind him.
What a finish.
Buddy. Good job, man.
Kyle Busch continues to add to his unbelievable numbers. His 15th win.
You got it, dude. Thank you so much, guys. Great job.
Team owner Billy Ballou, owner of the 1st and 2nd place trucks.
Kyle Busch knows, he smiles, he points.
That's his teammate right there, Eric Almirola.
You did it, you pushed me up front. I am now a winner once again. Guess what? That is his 5th win in a row when he starts in the Truck Series this year.
And guess what else? It's the first ever 1-2 finish for Billy Ballou Motorsports. 51 and 15 finishes 1st and 2nd for the first time.
But I'm telling you, when they put Eric Almirola in one of those Billy Ballou trucks, there's some magic happened there.
That's got to feel good for for Kyle Busch and for Billy, because that 51's had so much success. It's fun to see the 15 come up there and be a part of their success today.
And how about Terry Cook? An unbelievable finish. Todd Bodine gets shuffled back to third. Terry Cook fourth.
Teammate David Starr fifth.
David Starr is fifth, the top 5 finish. How about Mario Goslin? MyTireMonkey.com on board that team. He finishes 6th today in Talladega.
Top 10 finish for Justin Hobgood.
How about that?
And the number
Great job, the
53
Georgia
truck.
Beef.
That's when we talk about what's fun about Talladega. Guys that wouldn't have a shot to get up and run for a win, we're up there running for it. Mario Goslin, Justin Hobgood, both those guys with great, solid top 10 finishes.
Kyle Busch gets his 6th win of the 2009 season in the Camping World Truck Series. We'll be back to hear from him and see him in Victory Lane. Trackside boys getting ready for their Halloween edition. How about, well, I'm not even going to go through the names because we're not really sure what all of those folks are dressed up as.
What's Larry?
I think he's Freddy Krueger. I saw the claws on his hand there. How about an unbelievable finish here at Talladega Superspeedway once again. Todd Bodine looked as though he was going to make it 5 wins in a row on a superspeedway.
The 88's leading the race with about a half mile to go.
Yeah. Right now, 88's leading the race.
He got pushed up the track by Todd Bodine. Great job by Todd Bodine right there to push him up, then get to the bottom of the racetrack. And I bet you Todd's feeling pretty good about winning this race about right now.
And I thought that may have been a move to win the race, but look at the run. Eric Almirola pushes his teammate, Kyle Busch, by Todd Bodine to get 1st and 2nd. What a great finish.
Adam Alexander, let's hear from you down in Victory Lane.
Kyle Busch just arrived into Victory Lane here at the Talladega Superspeedway on a day when truck owner Billy Ballou got his 300th start in the series. He gets a 1-2 finish, and how fitting that Kyle Busch is the driver that got him in Victory Lane again. You have been a big part of all the success at Billy Ballou Motorsports. 300th start today. Where does this one rank?
That just happened. Unbelievable. Eric Almirola, I owe everything to Eric Almirola today, you know, sticking behind me on that, from that last pit stop to the end. I told him if he just stayed with me, they wouldn't be able to beat the 15 and 51. So awesome job to Eric. He can take my half of the pay after today, and I don't get paid anything, so I don't know what Billy will work out with him, but what an awesome truck. This Mikasuki Tundra was great today, and guys did an awesome job building it. You can only go as fast as what it's built from the shop, so obviously a lot of work went into this thing. Toyota clinched the Manufacturers Championship. That's awesome. Thank NOS Energy Drink, thank the fans. It was a lot of fun today. There was a few moments that maybe got a little hairy, a little sketchy, but overall it worked out in the end for us, so it's awesome.
You were doing a lot of coaching on the radio about you and Eric working together. Take us through those conversations under the caution late in the race.
Yeah, I need a more private channel so not everybody hears it, but basically I had to tell him, you know, just the ways that I've been here in the past. Like last year I got beat. The first year I was horrible. We won't go there. I think I ran 8th or 9th, you know, made a lot of mistakes. Last year I saved a lot of that till the end of the race. Didn't quite get in the position I needed to be in. Today I had Eric behind me who really helped me, and being able to just talk through him and telling him what to do if we just stayed together. You know, the biggest patience of this race, I know it's more than 94 laps, but if it was 94 laps today, there's 93 laps of patience, and 1 lap, that's a free-for-all that wins this thing. So Eric did an awesome job.
You spent some time back in the pack when the front end of the truck was dragging early. How anxious were you going through the field?
I wasn't too anxious. I knew that we had a good truck. We just drive right up there, and you know, had some good help behind us. I got behind a 5, and when I had the 5 in front of me bumping him upwards, you know, was what got us up there. So, you know, that was the key there, and just again having a good race truck, and Mikasuki, Graceway Pharmaceuticals, Toyota, all these guys that make it happen on this whole team. The nationwide Mikasuki boys are here for the pit crew, and Richie and everybody that works at the shop so hard. Thank those guys. They did a great job on this truck, and you know, hopefully we can save it again for Daytona.
Kyle Busch a winner at Talladega. Chris Devoda.
And before going to Victory Lane, the first thing Kyle did was come by and thank his teammate Eric Almirola. He said he owes everything to you. I would imagine that's about how you feel right now.
Yeah, I'm just proud of Billy Ballou and all these guys on his race team, man. His 300th start, and for him to win in that fashion, that was pretty cool. Everybody said in practice that when me and Kyle got hooked up, it didn't matter who was in front or behind. We were just really, really fast. So I'm just disappointed. I told Billy before the restart that I wanted it to be a 1-2 finish, but I wanted to be 1 some kind of bad. So I don't know. One of these days I'm going to get a victory, but proud of everybody. Thanks for Graceway Pharmaceuticals continuing to help us out and supporting this great campaign and AK Awareness. So go to akawareness.com and learn all about it.
Thanks, Eric. Ray Dunlap?
Krista, lots of times we've said the best truck doesn't always win. I think that's the case today for sure. How much would you have given for a teammate with about 50 feet to go to the finish line?
Yeah, that's, you know, Eric's a smart driver, and he's a great teammate, and he did the right thing for his team for sure. If it wasn't for him, Kyle wouldn't have won. But that's racing. That's part of the game, you know. And this Copart Tundra was fast, man. It drove so good and did everything I need. I spun out on pit road and messed that up, got back to the lead, but it was still a good run. You know, I'm definitely disappointed. We made the right move at the end, just didn't have a teammate to carry it out at the end, but you know, that's the way it goes. And you know, two things I gotta say. The pink helmet everybody saw on TV, that's getting auctioned off on eBay. We need to get some money for cancer awareness, and I want to say hey to LZ's mom.
All right. The Evil Onion earlier played along with our game. He almost got another victory here at Talladega.
Copart point standings after this race. The 22nd of the season has 202 points separating Hornaday and Crafton. Mike Skinner, 327 back. Todd Bodine and Colin Brown, your top 5.
At 5th place, swap spots. Brian Scott fell back. Colin Brown up to 5th.
Our next race is from Texas Motor Speedway, the WinStar World 350. You won't want to miss that. We expected an unbelievable race. Once the rains went away, that's exactly what we got. A push from your teammate means Kyle Busch goes to victory lane in the Camping World Truck Series.
It's down to the final 3, but the road to Homestead leads through Texas. Ron Hornaday may have a stronghold on the championship right now, but that can all change in just one race. You won't want to miss 1 second of the final 3 races. Blink, and everything could change. It all starts next week in Texas with the setup at 8:30, live on Speed. Be there.